Hello, everyone. Cutting it close.
Drop me so that I can take a bottom box so they can have the top boxes.
All right.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salami and bacon.
Hey, well, at least that's something me and Mr. Mac can agree on.
How's everyone doing?
Doing great, you. Oh, what
I'm
happened?
doing okay.
Did you
I
leave?
think we'll be right back.
Let's get this party started, shall we?
Is this box better?
I don't know.
Change boxes.
All we need is Fortress. Hey, y'all go spam message and spam call Fortress. Blow his phone up. Johnny, the judges are Mac, Silver, and Fortress.
You guys are going to walk me through this, right?
Indeed, we are. My fan is loud. Y'all turn off my air conditioning. I'll just heat up in here.
Hey, Fortress, the middle section's not a cross exam, it's a open dialogue. But it's all good. I just realized it said that.
Yeah, that's what I meant to probably put. But
It's
yes.
all good.
That's okay, Holly. You don't need to fix it. I think they get the gist of it. I'll just explain it when the time comes.
Are we sticking to a 5-10, 5 score?
Yeah, but for the open dialogue, we're gonna do the same thing as with BT3. The open dialogues out of 10. The open and closing statements are out of 5.
Maybe dumb question, but like in your opening, are you gonna like introduce yourselves, or you want that for like an intro, or just
I mean, we don't really need an intro.
okay,
I'm not introducing myself in the opening.
all right.
He can if he wants.
You like an intro for myself, you mean?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I should add that into the 5 minutes opening.
Intro song lasts like 6 minutes, so.
Now we're good.
So Protect, because he's on the affirmative, he goes first in the opening and last during closings, because he has a bigger burden than I do.
Yes.
So he gets first and last word.
Two minutes, and I will start.
Yeah, which skull cut are we using this time?
Same as last one. So it's going to be the 5-10-5 score.
5, 10, 5. Okay, thanks.
That means, right?
I can explain if you want. So there's
Necessary.
3 categories that we use for scoring. It's going to be your open, it's going to be your open discussion, and then your close. And you're going to be scored 5 points per category out of 5. In your open, your cross it up, your open discussion, and then your close. Your open discussion will get 10 points instead of 5.
I have to talk for
Bringing
the whole
other
5
people up
minutes.
on the panel.
No, you can
Yeah.
concede time at any time.
You can concede it. Protect, could you take away whatever mod powers to bring people up except for you, since you're going to be here for the whole debate?
Yeah. That's a lot of people. Okay, who the heck is in this live? Yeah, don't let anybody up. I invited somebody by accident. That was my bad. But all right, now it's officially 10 o'clock. Hello, everybody. I'm Protective Voiceless. You're hosting a formal debate. As you can see in the prompt, this debate is about ought women self-sacrifice during pregnancy. So Mr. Mann will be holding the affirmative, and Darth White will be holding the negation. So how the format is going to be, it's going to be a 5-minute opening for each. Then there will be a open dialogue discussion for 1 hour, and then there will be 5-minute closing statements for each, and then there will be a Q&A. So like I said, if you guys want an intro, I'll give you one, and I won't add that to the 5 minutes. So I'll allow you guys to introduce yourselves. I'll start with Mr. Mann first, as he'll be defending the proposition that women ought self-sacrifice. So, Mr. Mann, would you like to introduce yourself?
Man. Da, 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 da.
All right. Darth, why not? Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm just Darth, why not?
All right. So with that out of the way, let's start. So the opening, we'll go to Mr. Mann first. You have 5 minutes. Let me set the countdown. You'll be defending the proposition that women ought self-sacrifice during pregnancy. So the countdown will begin in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, I would posit that women ought self-sacrifice during pregnancy because I hold the axiom that all parents who have custody of children owe that child a duty, which is a virtuous obligation to that child, which transcends subjective ideations. So parents who have custody of a child, that child is now their ward. Therefore, they owe this child a duty, much like a soldier owes a duty to his country to run into the hail of gunfire. It's just a duty that you have as the custodial parent. So obviously that would include self-sacrifice. From what I know, there is no such a circumstance where during pregnancy, the it's either unalive the child or the mother unalives. It doesn't seem to work that way, but that's besides the point. We're talking about the principle of it. And even in a situation that you could contrive where you would have to sacrifice the child to save the mother's life, and if you didn't, if you wanted to save the child, you would be sacrificing the mother's life to save the child's, that choice isn't a choice at all, because the child has no obligation to sacrifice for the mother. The mother is the one who holds the duty to sacrifice for the child. And that continues throughout the entire custodial parenting lineage, or however long it takes. So this is the axiom I hold. I don't know how you're going to try and falsify it, but you can give it a shot. And I'll yield the rest of my time.
All right, so I'll give Darth Knots 5 minutes. Let me start it in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, thank you. I want to start off by thanking the host and the judges for taking the time to moderate and judge the debate. Thanks to the audience who came to watch. Sorry the formalities are a little bit shorter today, but there's a lot to get to. Most people know me as a crash out or this or that, but what people should realize after all these months of debating is that my style typically is a complete cutting off at the ankles of the individual. I don't grant anyone their presuppositions or axioms unless they can justify them. I'm assuming my nice New Yorker friend here, Mr. Mann, will poison the well prior to the argument, or he may not give an argument at all. What I want everyone to keep in mind is he has the affirmative position here. He actually has a burden of proof, and while I'll be kind enough to give him a counter argument of my own to show him why he's wrong, I'm first going to destroy his entire argument from the paradigm level down. You see, Mr. Mann here is a Roman Catholic. The reason this is relevant is because his moral system, which is necessary to make the claims he's making, is already established. His base ethic, and I think he would have to agree with me here, is built off of God's law as given in Scripture, as well as through the interpretation of the infallible magisterial teachings of his church. It is the normative authority for him. That being said, my counter argument is really simple, a little bit long. To be a Roman Catholic, you must submit yourself to church teaching, as well as allow the church to bind your conscience in regards to these teachings. P2, the Catholic Church for nearly a millennia has taught the doctrine of double effect, at least as far back as Aquinas' Summa Theologica, where he states nothing hinders one act from having two effects, one of which is intended while the other is beside the intention. Or the Catechism of the Catholic Church when it states, on legitimate defense, the act of self-defense can have a double effect, the act of preserving one's own life and the unaliving of the aggressor, the one is intended, the other is not. Pope Pius XII addresses this principle of double effect in regards to medical ethics, like end-of-life care or maternal fetal situations. In his address to the Family Front of Congress, November 27, 1951, he says, "It has been our intention here to use always the expressions, the direct attempt on the life of the innocent, and the direct unaliving, for example, the safety of the life of the mother independently of her state of pregnancy might call for an urgent surgical operation or any other therapeutic application which would have an accessory consequence, in no way desired nor intended, but inevitable, the death of the fetus. Such an act could not be called a direct attempt on the innocent life. In these conditions, the operation can be lawful, provided that it be a matter of great importance such as life, and that it is not possible to postpone it till the birth of the child or to have recourse to any other efficacious remedy." P3, to knowingly and openly teach against established Catholic doctrine in regards to faith and morals, you would be self-excommunicating from the church. This is called a late sententiae. It removes you from the body of the church without needing a formal excommunication from the church, hence self or automatic excommunication. The conclusion being that our red-pilled friend here, Mr. Mann, can either submit himself to the teachings of the church, which have been taught since at least 1272, repent, and we can have a friendly discussion about some of the more nuanced points here in depth, but not it be a heated debate, or he can willingly and knowingly become a heretic according to his own church's standards, and thereby cannot rely on his church's teachings of God or Scripture for the moral foundation on which he's making his claims here. Either way, he has no grounding for his claim, which necessarily defeats whatever his claim was, and at which point I will not hold back when I absolutely and wholeheartedly demolish every single point he comes here to bring, with the viciousness you all may have never seen from me before. If you thought I don't hold back against the pro-choicers, you may get a chance to see what happens when someone claims to hold to an authority such as a church, for their normative authority, and yet will renounce their faith for a shitty red pill talking point. This counter-argument may seem harsh to some, but it's actually me showing a bit of grace and mercy, asking him to come to repentance before I actually have to, bit by bit, strike by strike, break him down until there's nothing left except a pile of dust and whatever gabagool he ate earlier. I call you to repent, Mr. Man. The choice is yours. Humble yourself and renounce your stance, or puff yourself up in pride and renounce your faith in what you believe to be the one true church, which is therefore rejecting Christ. I concede the rest of my time.
Okay, so now we can move into the open discussion for 1 hour. I'll set the time for both of you guys. Second. And we do this well here. And you guys may begin.
Appreciate it. Really quickly, Mr. Man, which of the two would you like to do here? I want you to
First,
take a couple minutes to think about it.
I'll tell you. First, I'm going to have to correct you. I kind of feel bad because it sounds like you really worked hard on that. I renounced the Catholic Church years ago, buddy. I don't know what you're talking
I
about.
thought you were a Catholic. I thought you were
No,
a
no,
Catholic.
I was raised Catholic, but I renounced Catholicism when it was the Archdiocese edict that got my children kidnapped from me. So yeah,
Okay. Because
I
the last
don't abide
time
by
we
Catholic
spoke,
teachings
hold on.
because what they do is they come up with
Hey, Mr.
edicts
Man.
that are abomination.
That's fine. I don't need a monologue. So you renounced the Catholic doctrines, correct?
I did that years ago.
Okay, so then why did you claim to be a Catholic when you and Jellyfish and I were at it on Protect's panel that one night? When I asked you, when I said you were twisting scripture like a Protestant, you said, no, I'm a Catholic.
I said I was raised Catholic.
No, you didn't.
I said
I can get the recording.
listen. I said I'm not a Protestant. If anything, I would be considered a protesting Catholic, as I've renounced them after what they did to me.
So then you're a Protestant. I don't know why you claimed to be a Catholic before. Anyway, okay, so I guess I'll just give you a secondary argument. I don't think you realize. Why is it the mother has this obligation?
Why does the mother have the obligation?
Yeah, where does the obligation come from?
By the very nature that she has custody of a child, a minor.
Yeah, I'm saying where does the custodial obligation stem from? What's the basis for it? Not, I understand she has custody, so she has a custodial obligation. Where's the custodial obligation grounded?
Where is it grounded? In what is right and true? That all mothers, that all children
how do you know what is right and
require,
true?
well, because all children require to gestate. So that means all human beings require gestation to live. And if we could say that everyone has a right to
that has
live, then they
nothing
would
to
have a
do with
right
saying,
to this.
hold on, sir, I don't think you understand. I'm
Maybe I
asking you
don't.
where the custodial obligation, you're positing an obligation, which is the basis for your stance, that women ought self-sacrifice.
Yes.
This obligation, I'm asking you, where does it come from?
God.
You're saying with what is true and good, you're presupposing it. So it's grounded in God, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, could you demonstrate that for me?
Could I demonstrate it? Yes,
Yeah.
a woman is charged with God's precious creation. So it is her obligation. Just by the very nature of how a human being manifests
This
its
is an
reality,
assertion, not an argument.
it's descriptively true that all human
It's
beings
not
manifest
descriptively
within their
true that
mothers.
it's, no, actually, I'm sorry, hold on. It's not descriptively true that a woman ought to self-sacrifice.
That's not
because
what
she
I
has
said.
a custodial obligation. No, hold on, but I'm saying you need to give an argument for where the obligation is coming from. You said God, right? That's an assertion. I need you to give an argument grounding it in God.
Grounding it in God. Okay, it is clear, it is self-evident that the woman's station.
Self-evident.
Yeah, it is self-evident that it is the woman's station in a child's life to care for and protect them by the very
Wait, self-evident to whom?
physical nature of existence.
Self-evident to who?
It's self-evident that the child, being God's creation, is placed in the custody of the mother. Therefore, it is self-evident that the mother is the one with the obligation.
Yeah, sure. I can grant that to you. Here's the thing, though, right? Is when you're saying that she has an obligation because she's the custodial, not parent, the custodian, right? Let's just say custodian. So she has a duty, therefore, to self-sacrifice. I need you to bridge the gap there. And also, you saying it's descriptively true that she's the custodian doesn't mean that it's a good thing that she has a custodial obligation or anything like this. You're presupposing things in between here that you need to connect in order to make the argument. It's an assertion to say it's self-evidently true. I don't grant self-evident axioms. Like, I've never granted them, even to atheists or pro-choicers.
But you would admit,
I'm not going to
that
grant
it's
them to
in-
you either.
You would admit that the child is physically in the mother's custody.
Yeah, sure. Descriptively,
Okay.
sure. But this doesn't make it so that there's an obligation here that you would not have to ground. You can't just say it's self-evident. This is a presupposition that you're going to have to actually give an account for.
Okay, so you're trying to get me to say that, let me think, that due
Well,
to
let me show you
the
why it's saying
requirement
it's just
of the
self-evidently
child to the mother's care in order for it to live and flourish, it is virtuous that the mother, due to her physical proximity and what would you say, the fact that she's custodian to the child,
Sure, these
she
are all
would owe the
descriptive
child.
claims, though. You're not giving me the ought or where the ought ties to the descriptive claim. So you're prescribing something through a description, which is an is ought fallacy. It's Hume's guillotine. What I'm asking you to do is back up the presupposition that she ought do this thing with something other than a self-evident axiom. Because I could just say it's my self-evident axiom that she ought not. She ought not be forced to do this.
Well, but you're saying that the alternative to what I'm saying would be that she ought be able to unalive her child. And I'm saying she ought not unalive
I'm
her
not, that's
child.
not what I'm saying. No. I'm not saying she ought unalive her child. I'm saying she ought not be forced to self-sacrifice.
You're
That's
saying
my-
she ought
that's
be
my
allowed to unalive her child in order to
No,
save
it's
herself.
not. No, Mr. Man, here's the thing, though.
But this is the
I don't
this
think you
is the
actually
thing. It's one or
understand
the
my
other.
position.
It's either the
No, I'm
mother
not
is
saying intentional
self-sacrificing
unaliving. So
or she's sacrificing
here's why I
the
brought
child.
up, hold up, Mr. Man, hold on. You're ascribing a position to me that I don't take, right? So I don't also I don't have a burden of proof here, but in good faith, I'm going to give you an actual argument for it. In my view, which is actually really close to the Catholic view, which is why I went with the Catholic portion of this, because I thought we could find some agreement here. But I do believe in the doctrine of a double effect. And that's where I would hold that self-defense principle. I'm not saying that she should be able to unalive it prior to the removal from the womb, but that, let's say, a woman who is 16 weeks pregnant, she has some serious medical condition. The only way, like, say she has like a uterine cancer or something like this, right? And the only way that she would be able to survive is by removing the uterus from the woman, and as a secondary consequence, the baby unalives. I think that you could remove the baby whole, alive, and intact and allow it to unalive with dignity, with palliative care, and that would be perfectly moral because you're saving the life of the woman. The intention is to save the life of the woman, not to unalive the child. The child unalives as a secondary consequence. In
Could
the
I
same
test
way that
that?
a 26, sure, test it.
Okay, I'll test it. You have a woman, she's at the mall with her child. She's holding her child, and an active pew-pewer comes in and he points his pew-pew at her. He's got one pew-pew bean left, and she has to make a choice. She only has one choice she can make in this situation because she's cornered. She could either shield the child, as is her natural motherly duty to protect the child, or she could hold the child up in front of her as a human shield to protect herself.
Yeah, so how would this be analogous to pregnancy?
Okay, because what you're saying is that in the situation where either the mother sacrifices her life and the child perishes, or the child survives and the mother perishes, it's directly analogous because the condition that's causing this unaliving is analogous to the active pew-pewer, whereas the mother is analogous to the mother, the child is analogous to the child, and there is no difference. The choice is still to be made by the mother to
it's
either
the principle.
sacrifice
It's the
herself
principle.
or her child. That's the principle.
Mr. Man, here's no. Here's how it would be analogous. If you want to test the law of double effect, or the doctrine of double effect, if you want to test that with the hypothetical that you just tested, it would have to be completely different scenario where, like, say the intention of the mother was to pick the child up and run, and as a secondary consequence, she left cover and her child got unalived by the pew-pewer. That would make it more analogous. whereas she could have sat there and risked her own life, or even both of them unaliving. Because let's say that a woman at 16 weeks gestation has a pregnancy in which she would unalive if she did not get the proper medical care, but the proper medical care would unalive the child. If she unalives in the next couple of weeks or the next couple of minutes or whatever the time frame may be, this child's still not going to be able to survive outside the womb. So now there's 2 deaths instead of 1.
Okay, but that's
Do you see
that,
the,
what
do
that,
you see
yeah,
the
but
issue
what
with
that's
your
doing,
position?
yeah, but that's switching the whole premise of this argument, because the premise of this argument was between the choice of her sacrificing herself to save the child or sacrificing the child to save herself. So you're just skirting the
Bro,
analogy.
I'm not.
You are.
I'm not
you
skirting the analogy.
You are.
No,
by
I'm saying
by
I even
that
showed
she
you
had a
how to
choice.
make your analogy more analogous because it's disanalogous to the actual thing that I
No,
just
you made it
posited
less
to you,
analogous.
which is double effect.
You
I
made
made
it
it
less
more analogous
analogous.
by maybe in your mind, Mr. Man, I made it less analogous, but I actually just steelmanned your analogy a little bit
You
better.
didn't. No,
I
you
didn't answer it.
strawmanned
I
it.
didn't answer it. I want you to actually figure it out and answer. I mean, ask it to me so I can answer it. But the issue though is that it's really disanalogous because it's not testing the law of double effect, or I'm sorry, I keep saying law, the principle or doctrine of double effect. It's not testing it.
I'm a little confused as to what the principle of double effect is, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll explain it to you again. It's you can take an action, right? Okay, so let me say this. You can never do bad for good's sake, right? But if you do something with good intention and a secondary consequence that arises from you doing the good thing that ends up in a good thing, if it ends up in a good thing and also brings a bad thing with it, you're not directly responsible for the bad thing that came with it. Do you get what I'm saying here?
Sure, but that's
Gotta break it down really
that's
simple.
getting away from the sentiment of this debate, because this is about the choice between the mother saying, oh, I'm going to carry out this pregnancy and I'm probably going to pass away, but at least my baby's going to be okay, or I'm going to sacrifice my baby
That's
to
not-
save myself. Those are the choices.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I explicitly, prior to offering you this debate, I explicitly asked you multiple times, is a woman forced to self-sacrifice under your view in all circumstances at all times if her life is threatened by being pregnant?
Well,
And you
no,
said
this
yes.
is no.
So now you're
no.
I have it recorded.
Listen, I have been
I have it
arguing
recorded,
this.
bro. Don't
I've been
switch it up
arguing
now.
this principle. I'm not switching anything. I've been arguing this principle long before I ever even heard your voice. And I got video
Bait
to
and
prove it.
switch.
I posted the videos of me doing it. My position has never changed. I've been very clear about it from the get-go.
Yeah, Mr. Man.
Maybe
when,
you might have
when we were
misunderstood it,
going-
and that's why you got all hot and bothered and wanted this formal debate. But my position's always been the same. That all
So a woman is not
custodial
obligated
parents-
to self-sacrifice. Hold on. A woman's not obligated to self-sacrifice in all circumstances?
I mean,
if her
to
life is
just
threatened?
to self-sacrifice for what?
For the child.
To save the child's life?
Yeah.
Then
not even
yes,
save
if,
the
if
child's
the
life.
mother's
To continue with
self-sacrifice
the
could
pregnancy.
save the child's life, yes, she has a duty to do that.
And what if it's not? Then she has no obligation there?
What's the alternative?
Yeah, the alternative would be that she is going through some sort of medical issue where she would have to remove the pregnancy from her body, which would make her, take this baby out and the baby would unalive as a consequence prior to, let's say, viability. That's why I give you like 16 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, and you're saying that these doctors know there's no way she could keep that baby any longer, that they could have a safe induction or C-section?
No, I'm saying even if it's just, let's just say it's highly probable that she would unalive as a consequence, but it's prior to viability.
I would say that she should hold out till the child is at least viable.
How is she going to do that if it's threatening her life currently?
I mean, threatening
is what
isn't
I'm saying.
actually, threatening isn't a guarantee. It's not 100%. And just because a doctor says, listen, it's 95%, doesn't mean that they're right.
Yeah, sure. So
Yeah,
here's
so the
thing.
principle
the entailment of your
remains-
position. The entailment of your position would be, even if it might unalive the mother, she should continue to carry the pregnancy, even if she self-sacrifices in the process. She should be made to do this thing. Is this your position?
Yeah.
That she should carry it up until the point it's viable?
Mothers should do everything in their power to maintain their obligation to the children in their custody.
Okay. So if it happens at 10 weeks and her life is currently being threatened, and she could unalive in 4 weeks, but the baby still won't be viable yet, should she continue on trying to carry past the 4 weeks in this hypothetical?
If it's a uncertainty, like usually is, like I would say in every circumstance where no circumstance would require having an AB or could be
Do
healthy.
you know what a hypothetical is?
I got
You
you.
know what a
So
hypothetical is?
hypothetically speaking, she still would have an obligation to do whatever she can to keep this child alive. The
Holy
obligation.
shit, that's not the question.
her
I'm
duty
asking
is-
whether or not she would have to carry it past that to make it to viability under your view, even if you had certainty that she was going to unalive at 14 weeks.
Wait, even if she had certainty that she was going to unalive at 14 weeks, I would say if you knew that there was no way to save this child, then she doesn't have a duty to pretend like she can. But as a mother has a
Right.
duty to the safety of the children in her custody, she would have to exhaust every opportunity to save this child, and that would include self-sacrifice.
Okay, so then she ultimately ought to self-sacrifice in all circumstances. What the fuck is the?
If it
Are
would
you-
save the
Are you
child.
dumb?
No, I'm not.
Are you dumb?
No, I'm not.
Okay, here, look, I have a hypothetical for you. It's a bit similar to your mall pew pewer hypothetical. Let me ask you, if you and your wife have 10 children, right?
Uh-huh.
And your wife and your child are both held at pew pew point at equal distance from you, right? The hostage takers only have one freedom seed each. I'm sure you can figure out what I mean by that. And are only intent on pew pewing your child and your wife.
Okay.
Do you run in front of the bullet to sacrifice yourself for the child or your wife?
The child.
And why the child? Because at this point you've now deprived your other children of you and your wife, so your custodial obligations like inherently contradictory. You just
Not at all,
contradicted
'cause
your
at least-
entire obligation.
No, I didn't, because they're still alive. And that was what my obligation was, to keep my kids alive.
So now you've deprived. Do you have a custodial obligation to not deprive your children of custodians?
Do I have a custodial obligation to not deprive my children of custodians? That would be my obligation to provide my custodianship would be secondary to keeping them alive.
Wait. Did you just say secondary? So then what would be primary?
Keeping them alive.
Okay. And so you keeping your child alive, even if it would take away both parents, right?
Yeah.
So you're not only are you taking away your own custodial obligation by allowing yourself to unalive and leave everybody else
No, I'm fulfilling it.
with your children. Hold on, no, sure. Really quickly though, you're also depriving the woman of being able to fulfill her custodial obligation. Is that moral or immoral to you?
I'm
Because
not
your
the one.
action directly resulted in her not being allowed to fulfill it.
No, I'm not the one doing that. I'm fulfilling my parental obligation, and this pew pewer is committing a crime.
What the fuck does the pew pewer having committed a crime have anything to do with the like?
Well, because you're
okay,
saying you're trying
do you-
to.
Okay,
you're
how would you
trying
feel
to
if you didn't
blame
eat breakfast
me.
this morning, Mr. Man?
I would feel probably the way I feel right now because I didn't. But my point is, you're
Oh my
trying
god!
to.
Holy shit! The breakfast question. Oh Lord, we got 40 fucking 2 minutes of this left, and I got to deal with this. Oh,
Hey,
can't
hey,
even
you,
answer the
you wanted to
breakfast
ask that
question.
stupid question.
Hey,
Now,
bro.
now you've
I
thrown
asked-
off.
I
Now you've
asked
thrown off
pretty-
the whole flow. Was that your way of deflecting?
No, that wasn't my way of deflecting. It was showing that you
All right,
didn't
so go back then.
understand how to
Rewind,
deal with
because now I forgot where we
hypotheticals.
were at. So go back to right before you made that
It means
stupid
you
question.
don't know how to deal with hypotheticals, but sure, yeah. Are you depriving your children of their custodians
Am I
by
deprived?
committing that action?
No, the pew pewer is.
How is the pew pewer doing that if you're the one choosing to save the child instead of your wife? And at
He's-
least your wife would be able to carry on. Hold on. At least your wife would be able to carry on her custodial guardianship.
Sure,
of
but
the
the
child.
pew pewers, they just unalived both of us. So
Sure. So you save one child to leave 9, or to leave all 10 really, without parents.
sure,
And
Gladly.
you think that's an intuitive stance?
absolutely.
Who takes up
Absolutely.
custody after? Hold on. Who takes up custody after?
I'm sure somebody's going to have to.
What if? Oh, so it's just somebody. What if they wind up with Heffrey McJeffstein? What if they wind
It's
up with somebody
possible.
like him?
It's possible, but at least they'll all be alive.
Do you think? Do you think it would have been better for them to be with their mother who survived, or do you think it would have been better for them to end up in that type of situation?
Better? That seems like a utilitarian question. I don't know.
Better? No,
I
better
mean,
is a
what would have
normative
been better
question,
is
dumb
if there
fuck.
was no puke.
According to your principle, if there's if there is a obligation,
Yeah.
I'm saying you're removing both of the custodians, right?
Uh-huh.
This custodial obligation that you speak of, you're removing both custodians. The children could go wind up being on an island in the little
They
St.
could.
James,
Yeah,
right?
a lot of
Yeah,
possibilities.
they could, right? Right. But
Yeah, a
here's
lot
how
of
you can know that they won't is if you leave the mother alive. So this also seems a little bit contradictory to me.
Well, you're making a lot of presumptions, and the fact is, I didn't have a obligation to provide custodian to my kids past the point of allowing one of them to be unalived. My obligation is to my children and their survival. You know, it's not my obligation to provide the custodian. I am the custodian, as is she. And guess what? If we
Is it
both unalive, that's what happened. Now they're out of custodian. They could get another
sure?
custodian, and
Sure,
they'll
no
have
problem.
that same obligation. But my
I'll show
obligation
you
is
why
to
this
take
is
the puke
inherently.
bean for the kid.
Sure. I don't know where you could actually ground that just in scripture. Do you have any scripture, like, because you said it's grounded in God. Do you have anything that you could point to show me that God tells you that you must, like, save your child, self-sacrifice for your child over your wife? Because I can show you Ephesians 5 where the husband has an obligation to self-sacrifice unalive for his wife like Christ unalived for the church. I don't have any scripture that could tell me that I should save my child over my wife or anything of the sort. Like, where I'm not saying you have to have a verse that says, hey, save this child during the mall pew-pewing. I'm just asking you, like, is there any scripture that you could point to if it's grounded in God
Well,
that you could show me?
I'm not a biblical scholar, but I could say, whosoever shall cause one of my little ones to fall, it would be better that a millstone be tied to their neck and thrown into the deepest part of the sea.
Yeah,
So,
that's in regards to leading them into sin. If you
sure.
just look at scripture, it could, yeah. So how are you leading your child into sin?
Well, because I'm setting a terrible example for him by allowing his
Setting
brother to
a
be
terrible
unalived.
according to who? According to who? Not God. Your own personal subjective feelings, dude. This is all just subjective to you. Even if there are higher obligations that come prior to the custodianship, right? You completely ignore those for some emotional reason, I guess. I don't know if it's
What
like a
higher
personal thing you got
obligations?
going on or whatever.
What higher obligations?
Yeah, you have a higher obligation to your wife than you do to your children. Did you know that based off of scripture?
I mean, you say I have a higher obligation. We're in a union together. We're one flesh, but we exist as one
Yeah,
flesh
yes,
to
exactly.
facilitate these children to be fruitful and multiply.
Sure. And can you be fruitful and multiply if you allow your wife to be pew-pewed by a pew-pewer?
Well, no, but we already
And can you be fruitful and
multiplied.
multiply if you jump in front of the bullet to
We
save
we already
the
multiplied,
child?
and now I'm protecting the fruits of my
Oh,
multiplication.
shit. Shouldn't you continue to multiply?
I mean, I could, but if I can't, if I'm in this situation, I'm going to save my kids because that is my purpose here.
Even though you have an explicit command from God in Ephesians 5 to self-sacrifice for your wife, you would do it
It
for
says,
the
wait, to
child
self-sacrifice
instead.
for your wife over your child?
No, it actually gives you an explicit thing in scripture that shows you that your wife is, like you said, of one flesh with you,
Uh-huh.
right? That's a bit higher. Do you know the significance of being of one flesh?
I would say it's very significant.
Do you think it's more significant than maybe someone who, you know, is not of one flesh?
I think
Do
the
you think
whole
there's, like,
reason it's
any
so
significance there?
significant, I think it's the reason it's so significant is because a husband and wife can produce children, which is the entire purpose
How are
of
you
the
going
union.
to right? Sure. If that's the purpose, right? Then don't you have an obligation to at
To
least
keep
allow
them
one of you
alive.
to survive? Hold on. To allow your wife to continue living on and produce children with someone else, as opposed to you both unalive and your children could go wind up on Heffrey McJeffstein's island being diddled by Bill Clinton or something. That, like, you don't think intuitively, like, you can't think past like first order.
Intuitively, by thinking past first order, you're saying that the ends justify the means, and that's not how it works. The ends don't justify
No, I'm
the
simply
means.
critiquing. I'm simply critiquing your position right now, dude.
Yeah, but my position
I'm not
is that
saying
the ends
anything
do not
about. No, I'm
justify
not
the
saying
means. So
anything.
even if
I'm not saying that the ends
I
justify
understand,
the
but even
means.
if it
What
were
I'm
the
saying
case,
is that there are obligations which come prior to the obligation, and you still haven't actually given me any reason to believe that this is a self-evident truth. Could you provide me an argument for that?
well, I would say that the entire purpose for this union of the flesh is to produce progeny. And those progeny, once produced, are now the focus and the primary thing we must be guarding. So the mother is just as responsible for taking the pew-pew as me. So she
Wait, hold on.
recognizes
Would it
that
be
to save
would it
that
be
child,
wrong?
she should
Sure,
recognize
sure.
that to save the
Do you have
child,
any basis for this?
do
Like,
I
you
have
have to give
any
an actual
basis?
argument, not an assertion. Yeah, you're just restating an assertion again. You need to give an argument for why this is the case. You're just claiming it is that way. It's not self-evident, dude. I could just do the same exact thing to you and say, well, this is an axiom that I hold. I don't have to substantiate it. I'm just going to assert the same thing over and over again, and it means nothing. Do you not understand that?
Yeah, no, I do. But you wanted to do this debate with me because you were going to
I
falsify
did.
my view, not have me
I
try
didn't
to
falsify
convince
your
you.
view. Hold on. I didn't falsify your
I
view.
know.
I literally told you the exact thing that you told me, which was in all circumstances she must self-sacrifice.
But here's the thing: you're the one who said you could falsify my view. I didn't
I'm
say I was
currently
going to
doing that.
falsify your
I'm
view. You
currently
said you were
showing you
going to
how you have
falsify
no grounding
mine.
for your view. Hold on, brother. Look, I am specifically sitting here doing that. Your view is absurd like just by face value. Face value, it's absurd, and you haven't actually given an argument as to how it is not. Given the fact that I've got you with multiple inconsistencies in your position, you can't actually show that your view is grounded in anything. You're just saying it's self-evident. Okay, well, what if a pro-choicer says it's self-evident that they should be able to unalive babies, dude? It doesn't matter. It's
here's
just a
the thing.
self-evident truth.
Listen,
It's all
it's se-
subjective to
it's
you, bro.
no,
you have to
no.
justify your
It's
position.
self-evident. It's self-evident because the child
Because
has no obligation to sacrifice itself for the parent. But the parent has an obligation to sacrifice for the child.
that's another assertion, not a justification for the self-evident axiom that you're claiming, dude.
Well,
Do you
here's the thing,
understand the words
because
that are
there's
coming
no
out
way
of my
to
mouth? Am I
justify
speaking
it, dude.
Chinese?
You can't
Do
claim
you want me to speak
self-defense.
Chinese to you?
No, because
It would be just as effective.
you can't claim self-defense
Listen
to unalive the child to save the mother.
Vietnamese boys for the rest of the
All right,
night.
you're crashing
Look,
out, dude.
come on, Mr.
Just
Man.
crashing out.
I'm not crashing. I'm
You're
not
just crashing
crashing. I'm
out.
fucking with you, dude. I'm saying you're not understanding me in English. I might as well talk with a
No,
different accent.
what you're doing is you're crashing out.
Mr.
because
Man,
you can't
you're not,
address
I'm
this.
not crashing out. Bro,
You can't address
you're
it.
just making do you know what an assertion is and do you know what an argument is? Could you give me the definition of both?
Oh God, we're not going to play this game again. Look, you
We
are
are gonna play
here to
this game.
falsify
Do you know what an
my
assertion
view.
is, and do you know what how am I going to falsify a view if you can't substantiate your stance with an actual argument? There's a difference between an assertion and an argument. Every time I ask you for an argument for something, you're giving me assertions in response. You're saying, well, it's self-evident because it's bad for the child doesn't
Well, no,
have
because I
any
start to say that and then
obligation
you
to the
cut me
child.
off.
No,
and then
bro.
you talk over
It's
me
not,
and
it's not
shout
an,
me down.
I know it's not an argument.
I get your
bro. It's
tactics.
not an
I know
argument.
it's very impressive. Everyone loves it.
It's not an argument, though. It's an assertion. This is what I'm trying to get you to understand so we can actually move past this. Because I don't even feel like doing this for the next 30 minutes. It's tiring as shit. You don't understand the base level words that you're using or like how you're going about arguing for your position. You haven't actually argued for your position, but an assertion is when you make a claim, right? You're saying it's self-evidently true that X thing is the case, right? And I'm saying to you, okay, that's a claim. Could you justify that claim with an argument? Right? Could you justify that self-evident axiom? And you're going, yeah, it's bad
Okay,
for
ready?
this reason.
All
Okay,
right, ready?
that's another assertion, not
Ready?
an
Here we
argument.
go. All right. Are you going to let me go? Okay. Unaliving an innocent baby is murder. There can be no justification for it because there can be no claim made of self-defense as the child is innocent. So we can't say the child's aggressing upon the mother. We can't say the condition that's causing this emergency is due
bunch
to
of
any of the child's
descriptions.
actions.
These
Therefore,
aren't, bro, hold on. Repeat everything you just said. I promise I won't cut you off. I'll even
Oh, I
mute
don't
myself.
remember it.
How do you not remember it? It's an
I have
argument. You
short-term
should have
memory
it.
problems.
You have short-term. Okay, well, I have short-term memory, bro. I forgot what you said about what I said about what you said for the last 30 minutes. Could you actually provide me with an argument? Because you just made a bunch of descriptive claims again. They were just claims. They weren't arguments, and they weren't leading up to an argument. Some of them didn't even necessarily follow from the others.
Okay, listen, you wanted to do this with me. I have my position, and I've always had the same
And
position.
you need to give an argument for that
Look,
position.
you want me to, so you could somehow disassemble that argument. But I didn't realize
That's
that's
what
what
you-
this is going to be. I thought you were going to try and falsify
What did you think affirmative?
my view
What do you think
by at least
How am I
at
going to
least
falsify?
showing
That
some
is
sort
what
of
that is.
contradiction
Mr. Man,
in my
yo,
view.
Oh my God.
But you're not.
Yeah,
You're
I
just
already
keep
have
asking me to
twice.
justify
I've shown you
it.
that there are higher obligations. I'm asking you to ground it. You haven't given an actual
What higher
argument.
obligations does
Hold
a
on, hold
mother
on.
have than to her
Mr.
child?
Man, Mr. Holy shit, Mr. Man, to her husband. Also, Mr. Man, really quickly, I'm on the negation, meaning that is what I'm doing when I'm falsifying your claims and getting you into these positions where you're, kind of just having to use, oh, well, it's just self-evidently true. I just take it to be true on face value, even though I have no argument for the justification for my position. But here's the thing, you're on the affirmative and you haven't given an affirmative argument yet. You haven't actually affirmed the proposition with anything of substance. You're just making claims. I don't know how hard it is for this concept to enter your brain, your mind, right? But you need to listen. This is why I'm trying to help you so we can move past this, because it is a little bit frustrating, but I'm still not crashing out. I'm trying to help you. An assertion is your position. Your position is an assertion. Okay? Your position has to be backed up with an argument, which is typically going to be like premise 1, premise 2. You don't have to put it in a formal, like, logical sense, right? But
All right,
you
let
at
me
least
try.
have to give it
I never
okay.
did it before, but let me try.
Okay.
All right. Premise 1. All children are precious and must be protected. Premise 2. Whomsoever has custody of a child owes that child safety, health, and well-being. Premise 3. If the need arises for the mother or father, the custodial parent, to self-sacrifice in order to maintain their obligation, they ought. Is that right?
Okay.
I could be wrong. I don't know. Is that what you meant?
Sure. Hold on. So it's P1, P2, P3. What is the P3 again? Give it to me.
Oh shit.
If it comes to bear where they have to utilize their obligation or fulfill their obligation, they ought to do so, right?
Yes, if it would take self-sacrifice in order to maintain their obligation, they must, as a matter of duty and honor.
Sure. As a matter of duty and honor. Okay. How are you defining honor here?
How am I defining honor?
Are you saying because it's virtuous to do so, they ought do the thing that is most virtuous?
I would say it's more than just virtuous. It's their duty.
What's the conclusion here? Is it, well, hold on.
Like
I'm sorry.
it would
P3,
be
that your
virtuous for
conclusion?
a soldier to run into the heat of battle, into enemy fire. It would be virtuous. Now, they could turn tail and run. They could, sure, but they'd be
Sure. No,
violating
here.
their duty.
I want to test your principle really quickly as just because something is more virtuous, it ought be done in all circumstances, right? Because that's typically what your argument's going to be here. It's going to be because they have a custodial obligation, they ought always self-sacrifice because they have a custodial obligation. It's going to be a little bit
That's
circular.
part of their
but-
obligation.
Okay, yeah. No, I understand this. Hold on. Yeah, well, you're baking that into custodial obligation.
Yes.
Custodial obligation, I don't think would itself, like this specific metric, I don't think it would say in all cases you always have to self-sacrifice no matter what. You would have to have some sort of position to back this up. But before you do that, I want to test your principle really quickly.
Sure.
Do you think it would be more virtuous if all Christians unalived for their faith?
Do I think it would be more virtuous than what?
Like martyrdom. Like, do you think martyrs are more virtuous than like normal everyday Christians?
I would say that self-sacrifice is the ultimate
display
I'm
or
testing a
expression.
principle here.
Yeah, self-sacrifice
I'm
is
just
the
testing the
ultimate
principle.
expression of love.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not talking about self-sacrifice in the custodial sense. I'm giving you a
I'm
completely
saying
different
it.
thing. I want to test a principle.
I'm saying as far
So,
as in total, absolutely,
yeah,
the highest form of
yeah,
love
really
would be
quickly.
self-sacrifice.
Really quickly, could I just get through this real quick?
Go for it.
So, we both agree martyrs are more virtuous than normal everyday Christians, right?
Well, not necessarily.
Do we have an obligation to unalive for the name of Christ as
Yeah,
Christians?
I would say sure.
Okay, and we have that obligation. And it would be virtuous of us to do that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So would you make an ought claim that individuals should go to, Pakistan or something like this and go blaspheme the Prophet Muhammad so that they can unalive more virtuously?
No.
Well, they have an obligation to do so,
Well,
and
they
it
have
would
an
be more
obligation to
virtuous
their.
if they
No,
did.
they have an obligation to the community first.
What?
They have an obligation to their community first and their
What,
local.
what if they're single?
What if they are? What difference does that make?
But yeah, but your argument is if you have an obligation to do something and that thing is virtuous, you ought to seek it out no matter the consequences. And then when I
See,
apply
that
that
you're
in a different
presupposing.
sense,
That you're presupposing.
that comes directly from your P1, P2 conclusion.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. You literally said because they have an obligation, whenever it comes time for them to fulfill the obligation, they ought to. And this comes from P2, which is custodial obligation, providing X thing, X thing, X thing. And I'm saying in every sense, if this is your base obligation, like your highest obligation, and there is no higher obligation than custodial obligation,
No, it's just the
I
highest
fucking
obligation
hate how
that a
many times I
parent
have to
has.
say this, dude. Does a parent have a higher obligation to God than to their child?
Yeah.
Okay, so then custodial obligation is not the highest obligation that a parent has.
To
you just
their
contradicted yourself.
child. With regard to the child, it's the highest obligation. With regard to themselves, it is. So if their obligation is to protect this child, no matter what the cost, that is their obligation. They also have an obligation to their husband, and they have an obligation to God. But they're not violating
I
their
understand
obligation to
this.
God or their husband, or the
I
husband is violating.
understand. Holy shit, dude.
Oh, go ahead.
Calm down. Calm down. I understand.
Okay,
But what I'm
good.
saying is that you're building your entire argument off of this specific obligation. And the reasoning for why you're saying they have to self-sacrifice given this obligation, if it applied, you're saying, well, they have this obligation to the child, right?
Yeah.
We have an obligation to God as Christians to be martyred for the faith, if it ever came to that, right?
Yeah.
This follows the same line of logic as your P1, P2 conclusion that you just gave me, your little syllogism. I'm giving you the same line of logic in a different thing, right? And then you're saying, well, no, they wouldn't have the same, they wouldn't have to do that.
It's not analogous, though. It's not.
Okay, how is it not analogous?
Well, because
where's
you
the
told me now I
symmetry?
got to go. You're saying that because people have an obligation to serve the Lord, that
No,
if
I'm
they
saying,
find out
okay.
that if they realize, oh, if I go
You're
to
already-
Pakistan and talk shit about the Quran, then I could be martyred.
No,
I don't get it. I
Okay,
don't
let's
get it.
just say that let's just say you going to a country as a Christian, outwardly professing your faith, which does happen in Pakistan.
Yeah.
If you outwardly profess your faith, you could just be lied against and be martyred for the faith,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have an obligation and that obligation always must end in X thing according to you, then this logically follows. We ought to seek it out or ought to go do it.
No, because that wasn't in the premise. The premise is if
When it
there's-
comes
in
time,
an
sure.
emergency, in an emergency where it comes down to you either self-sacrifice or you sacrifice the baby for yourself, you choose yourself. I mean, you want to say, how am I substantiating this? Jesus Christ sacrificed himself for the world. So he taught us in that way,
does
this
that-
is how you love. This is how you do
Was
it.
Jesus Christ a parent?
Yeah, he's God and the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit.
no,
What are you talking about?
no.
He is
Jesus
a parent.
is
He's his
not-
own parent.
Jesus isn't the Father, bro. But no, I'm
The
saying is he a
Father
parent
and
in a
Jesus
human
are
sense? Is he?
one.
Hold on.
And actually, you don't know.
I don't want to
you
get
have
into the
kids.
heresy. I don't even want to get into the heresy, dude. I can't teach doctrine, but that's heretical. Just please go look up what modalism is, because that's what you're proposing. It's heresy. Mr. Man,
No.
really quickly, I'm saying Jesus, when he was in the flesh on earth, present on earth, right? In the flesh, and lived for 33 years before being crucified, was he a parent?
I mean, aren't we all God's children?
Oh, brother.
Isn't
Was he a
that the
parent to any
relationship
human
we have?
children? Was he a biological parent to any children?
Not that I know of.
Oh, then how can you pull an obligation from this? This is disanalogous because he doesn't have any kids.
I'm
You see
getting
what you're
the
doing?
principle.
You see what your logic gets you to do?
No, I'm getting the principle of love. He taught us how to love, and the highest expression of love is self-sacrifice. And mothers
that
are
mean
to
you should
love their
always
children.
self-sacrifice?
So it is their obligation and duty to self-sacrifice for their children. I don't know why this is such a
Sure,
normal
Mr.
thing.
Mr. Man.
I don't get it.
Hold on, buddy. Yeah,
I get it.
I get that, because you're presupposing a lot of things. So, like, in certain instances, you have a very black and white way of thinking, which is probably why you couldn't understand the breakfast question. What I'm saying, though, is that let's say you have a duty to self-sacrifice, and you, by the way, you have a duty to self-sacrifice even for your enemies, according to Jesus, given the fact that he unalives on the cross even for his enemies. But really quickly, Mr. Man, if there was, let's say there was a guy in a mall, right? And he's pew-pewing a bunch of people. And you could either jump in front of a bullet and save, this person right here, this random person. Or you could go, because the guy doesn't see you, right? You could either jump in front of the bullet and self-sacrifice for one person, or you could allow that one person to unalive while you run at the guy to tackle him, to stop him from pew-pewing more people. Sorry, I had a mean-ass headache, and this TOS shit is not working out for me. I'm about to break it by accident. And you could run at him, tackle him, and stop him from pew-pewing and taking the lives of more people. Do you allow the individual to unalive?
I don't know. That's a very iffy situation. I don't know if I'd be able to tackle
Yeah,
him.
it's a very nuanced, right? It's a very nuanced
Yeah,
and complex
it's
thing.
very
Right? And
nuanced.
that's what I'm
Yeah,
trying to get you to see
nuanced.
here, is that it's a bit more nuanced than just, there's an
nuance.
obligation, therefore you always got to self-sacrifice, dude.
Yeah, well, when it comes to your children, yeah.
In all circumstances, you must always self-sacrifice.
Not in all circumstances, but in a circumstance where it's either you or the child. I know you want to get away from this, but in all circumstances where it's
Bro.
either you or the child, if you choose the child, you are engaging in a ritualistic child sacrifice. So you're essentially sacrificing your kids to Moloch for your own life.
Really, you're doing that by removing a cancerous uterus.
A
from your
cancerous
body as a
uterus?
woman.
No, you're doing
This
it
is
by
the- this is-
unaliving
yo,
your
This is what I
child.
told you earlier, bro. This is
You're
what I told
doing
you
it
earlier.
by
If a
unaliving your
woman
child.
had
dude.
a hold on, if she had uterine cancer, meaning that her uterus is where the cancer is, and the only way to save her life would be to remove the pregnancy.
And the child
Right?
couldn't survive anyway? Is that what you're talking about?
Hey, bro, but didn't you say that even if the child couldn't survive anyway, there's always a possibility they could, so she should always have to self-sacrifice? She should carry it out up
If
until
there,
viability.
if there is a
even
possibility
if there's
the
a possibility
child could
for
survive, then yeah.
even if there's a
But if
possibility,
it's
yeah.
like an ectopic
You're
or
never
something
going to
where
have
there's not a
epistemic
chance
certainty.
in hell
You're
this
never
child's
going
to survive.
bullshit. You're never going to have epistemic certainty in one way or the other for literally fucking anything. We can only operate.
Then
off
as
of
a
justified true
general
belief,
rule,
dude.
you should never do it.
Right. So thank you. So you should always self-sacrifice.
For your child, yeah.
Even if the child wouldn't survive, it's very, very highly unlikely it would survive. 99%, let's say. You should still do it.
I mean, how are you coming to these numbers?
Bro,
How are you coming to these numbers? 99%.
do you know
Is
what
it
a
just some
fucking
doctor's opinion?
hypothetical is, Mr.
Yeah,
Man?
I
You
know,
what
but
a
even in a
is.
hypothetical, your hypothetical has a bunch of doctors that are just making a claim.
If you could only be 99% certain, but you are in fact 99% certain, you're never going to have full certainty because it's impossible for us to have full certainty. We're not omniscient. Are we, Mr. Man?
No, we're not, which is why it would be
So
very
if we could
easy-
calculate it and say,
would be
hey, look,
very
this
easy
type
for
of... Hold on,
doctors
hold
to
on.
say
I'll
whatever
show
they
you.
want to
I'll
get
show
you to do anything they
I'll
want to
show you.
unalive your
I'll
baby.
show you. I'll show you, Mr. Man. Every 3 days, she goes in to the OBGYN and she has another x-ray and it shows The cancer is spreading incredibly rapidly, right? And if she doesn't remove it, she's gonna unalive prior to viability. And because it's prior to viability, the child's also gonna unalive.
Okay.
Should she remove the fucking uterus that has the baby in it or no?
If you know that there's no chance this child could
There's
live.
a 99% chance. There's a 99% chance that the child also unalives, but there's a 1% chance it doesn't. This is why deontology is so fucking stupid, dude. You're
No,
black
which
and white
is
on
why
everything.
I know you're all it is I just disagree with the way the medical community is judging how they handle situations like this, because this idea
shit.
that you could just sacrifice the child.
And I'm giving you a hypothetical. I'm not saying what is. I'm saying in a hypothetical world in which you had 1%, in which case the child survives, should the mother be obligated just because it's 1%?
So
Or
you're
do you
saying
think it's
there's
a little bit more
chance.
nuanced than that?
You're saying there's a chance.
Sure. Let's say 1 in every 1 million babies will be saved if a mother does this. Should all women be obligated if it only saves 1 in 1 million babies?
Rounded to the nearest percent, that's 0%.
Are you stupid, dude?
No, I did the math just now.
You said if there's a chance, and you're giving me a black and white answer, which is if there's a chance at all, then you should do it. If there's not a chance, then she shouldn't.
Well, first you
But
said it
then
was a
you say-
1% chance. Then you changed it to, what is it, 1 in
Now
a
I'm saying
million
it's
chance?
0.5. Let's say it's let's say it's 0.4 because rounded to the nearest percentage, it's 0. But what the fuck? Like rounded to the nearest whole number. Could you just actually answer
point
whether
is,
or
you
not
have
if
two
there is the
patients there.
smallest of chances?
You have two
If there
patients
is the
there.
smallest of
It
fucking
it
chances.
violates the Hippocratic oath to sacrifice one to save the other.
No shit, you should
Yes,
try to save
and because
both.
a child
but if you can only
cannot
save
consent,
one,
because
if
a
you
child
can only
cannot-
save one, holy shit.
if you can only save
What a
one, then
fucking
save
idiot.
one.
But if the baby has to unalive as a secondary consequence of the removal of the cancerous uterus to save the mother,
the child going to
would it
unalive
be
anyway? Yes. So what were you
holy
supposed to do?
shit. No, I'm saying there's a small percentage that it doesn't. So like 0.4%.
0.4%. I mean,
I'm saying how low of a percentage does it have to be where you're going to be able to break the fucking the black and white thinking?
how low does it have to be? It
Yeah,
has
how
to be
low of a
astronomically
percentage?
low. It has to be really low. If there was
Well, that's why I'm
10,000
asking
women a year,
0.4%, dude.
if there were 10,000 children a year that survived this condition, then I would be like, well, how are you going to? Why don't you give every child a chance? You're a mother. You should be giving each child a chance.
So then if there's even the smallest of percentages, you should be allowed. You ought to do this thing, right? So like
Yeah.
0.01%.
Sure.
0.01%.
Sure.
Yep. Okay, so 0.00001% or where?
I mean,
Where
if
you'd
it's
be like,
such
oh
a
yeah,
low
this is
number,
comically absurd.
if
At
it's
what
such a
point
low
would
number
it become
that
such
the-
a low number that it's comically absurd to you?
yeah,
Because
would
it's
have to be
comically
comically
absurd to
absurd.
me that you would say 99% knowledge that she's gonna unalive and the child will unalive.
well, because
a
there's no
1%
such. That's
chance
the whole thing.
She
Is
should
that
be forced.
you're talking about an impossibility for them to have 99% certainty of this. It's either they know there's
I
no
said
way.
100%, dude.
Listen,
There's
either
no,
either
there's
they
no
know
instance.
there's no
That's not
way
what I
this
said.
child could
That's a straw
survive.
man. It's a straw man, Mr. Man. It's a straw man.
Well,
I said
I'm
you're
not- I'm
never
not
gonna
telling you
have
your argument.
absolute certainty.
I'm not telling you your argument. I'm saying
You literally just said you said X thing, and that's not what I said.
no. What I said was, if it is the
Holy shit.
case that it's 100% certainty this child can't survive, that's one thing. But if there's a chance the child could survive, then it
You're not
would
going to have
behoove
100%
the mother.
certainty ever, dude. No, there's a 99% chance. There's a 99% chance that the child and the mother will unalive. There's a 1% chance that the mother may make it up to term, not make it up to term, I'm sorry, make it up to viability, right? To where the baby could survive, but the mother's going to unalive.
Yeah, I
Which
would
one are
say
you doing here? If there's a
the baby.
99% chance that the baby's going to unalive anyway.
try to save the baby.
Okay, great. What if it's 0.001%? Like, I'm trying to figure out where exactly your threshold is, because you're saying there is some threshold for you. It just has to be comically low.
It would have to be so low that the instances weren't actually real. It was just a mistake. The child didn't actually have that condition. That they were just anomalous.
Okay. And
Because if there is a
ground why I should
possibility,
care,
it can with
sure.
the correct care.
Why should I care? Yeah, great, no problem. Why should I care about the custodial obligation in the first place?
Why should you care about it? Because if you don't, then it opens up situations where women are using their children as human shields.
Now, why is that a bad thing?
Why is it a bad thing that little babies could be used as human shields?
Yeah, I'm just asking you according to your metrics. Why is that a bad thing?
Because harming children is the worst thing a person could do.
And why is that?
Because the victim is the youngest, most innocent, and most defenseless.
Okay, no problem. So if you had to grape one child so that 10,000 children would not be graped, would you do it?
No.
Okay, so you'd allow the graping of 10,000 children
I'm not allowing anything.
instead of... No, but you are, though. You're the
No,
one
I'm
making the
not.
decision.
That's a false dichotomy. It's not true.
It's not a false dichotomy. It's a
No, 'cause I'm
hypothetical
not- 'cause I'm
situation,
not
which is why I
making
already
I'm
knew
not
30
making a
minutes ago
decision
that
in-
this was not going to go anywhere.
In that situation, I'm not making a decision to allow them
Yeah,
to
you're
be
saying
raped.
harming a child. Yeah, you are, though, because
No,
you can
I'm
stop
not.
it. You could prevent it.
I'm maintaining my innocence.
Do you know what a sin of omission is?
A sin of omission. Go ahead and enlighten me. I know what omission means.
Yeah, sin of
and I know
omission.
what a sin is.
Yeah, I'm just giving you a trolley problem at this point. Like, you don't understand hypotheticals. You haven't given.
I
any
understand
further argument.
hypotheticals. You just take hypotheticals and
Bro.
you twist them, and you include
even answer the
qualifiers
breakfast
that don't
question
actually
correctly.
apply.
Holy shit, dude. You could talk down fucking anybody at this point, I think. You are so fucking brain unalive, it's going to be hard to do this.
Is that your best argument?
Here, look. Sin of omission is where...
Did you guys count up all
There
of
is
his ad
something
hominems, by the way?
Yeah, that's not an ad hominem, bro. I'm insulting you. Insults aren't ad homs. Ad
The
homs, I
insult
can
is
explain to you.
attacking the man, which is what it means. You don't speak Latin?
No, an ad hom... Hold on. An ad hominem fallacy is an attack against the man in place of an argument.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not attacking you in place of an argument.
Well,
I'm
what
just
was the
insulting you.
argument? That I'm
Yeah, I'm
stupid?
trying to explain to you sin of omission. You cut me off 5 words in. I tried to explain it to you again. You cut me off 5 words in. What would you like to do here, Mr. Man? Would you
I
like
didn't
me
cut
to
you off when
explain
you
it
were
to you
explaining
because
it.
you don't actually know? A sin of omission. Well, then why did we? I'm sorry. How did we get thrown off when I was trying to explain it to you?
Because you started insulting me.
What? Hold on.
Don't you remember?
I just started insulting you out
I
of
thought I was
nowhere.
the one with the short-term memory problems.
No, yeah, apparently. Here, Mr. Man, I'm going to explain it to you really quickly. I just want you to just shh while I do it, okay?
I'll mute.
A sin of omission. A sin of omission is where there is something that you could do, right? Like, let's say, stop 10 million babies from being raped. You could do something to prevent that, but you don't. It would still be on your hands because you could do something to prevent it, but you don't. And then there you would have an active sin or a sin of commission, right? Which would be raping the child to save the other 10 million. Right? So there's two different sins here. I'm saying which one is more heavily weighed? Allowing 10 million or 10 billion babies or whatever number you want to throw out there to be raped, or raping the one according to you, because this is all subjective to your own standards. You're trying to use God as a necessary grounding for it, but you can't. You didn't give me any scripture for your obligation, the custodial obligation. It's basically just all subjectivism at this point.
Are you done? You gonna let me address it? Yeah, I would
Yes, go
not.
ahead, please.
I would not
Holy
grape the
fuck.
child because that would be committing a sin. Like you said, it's a sin
Yes,
of
that's a
commission.
sin of
But
commission.
why
Yes,
do you
and there's
keep
sins of
interrupting
omission.
every time I answer any question? Is that all you can do? Are you so
I'm not
afraid of
asking
me
you-
to answer the
Bro,
question?
Go ahead. I'll mute.
All right, very good. So, yes, by graping the child, that's a sin of commission. But by not graping the child and allowing, as you put it, these other children to be graped is not my sin. That sin is the sins of those who are graping and putting me into that position in the first place, because I cannot commit that sin. It goes against my principles. So it's not like I'm committing any sin at all by not graping the child, because it's something I cannot do.
If you could save someone from being harmed in any instance and you don't do it, is that a sin?
If I could save someone from being harmed in any instance, not in any instance.
I'm saying in any hypothetical fucking scenario, dude. Any scenario.
Oh, like if I picked anyone.
If you, yeah, sure. Like, let's say that there's a train, right? And the train, there's two tracks, right? There's two tracks, and there's a little lever, right? And the little lever right there, right? You can either pull it and you can save the one person that's on the first track. I'm sorry, you can either save the 5 people on the first track, and it'll go to the other track and unalive one person, or you cannot pull it and allow the 5 people to be unalived, but you didn't do anything. Did you actively or passively even commit a sin here
No,
by not saving 5 lives?
no.
So you're just fine with like 5 people unaliving so that you don't have to save them and
I'm
unalive
not
the
fine.
one
I'm
by
not fine
action?
with. I'm not fine with people unaliving, but I will not be
No,
responsible
but you are.
for someone.
Your
unaliving.
actions show it.
No, that's not my action. I didn't tie these
Do you
people
think?
to the
Do
train.
you think it's a higher? Holy shit! No fucking shit. No, I'm not even saying they're tied to the railroad track. I'm just saying they're walking on it. They don't hear the train coming or see it.
Oh, okay. Either way.
It's just a complete mishap, and you could do something to prevent loss of life, but you don't do it.
Well, no, because
Is that a
would-
sin?
well, the sin would be me taking any kind of action in that scenario that through the cause of my action, another was to be unalived.
Do you understand what a sin of omission is? Because apparently, you
Yeah, I know.
genuinely
You just
don't,
went
bro.
through it. I know what a sin of omission is, but it wouldn't be a sin because you're not. I'm not. You don't replace a sin of omission with a sin of commission. That doesn't make any sense. Now
Sure.
you're guilty of the sin of
Sure.
commission, but ahead of time, because
shit. I'm asking you to weigh
because
the
it would
two.
require
Oh my
me
God.
to commit a sin of commission. Then it is not
Oh my
to
God.
avoid this supposed sin of omission. It disqualifies it as a sin of omission because it wasn't my sin. It was the sin of. It wasn't even a sin in this case because they're just walking on the track.
Holy shit. Yeah, you don't understand, bro.
No,
That's
I
fine.
understand.
Could you?
I'm just
Okay.
not, I'm
Well,
just not
now that
agreeing
we're down to
with you.
3 minutes, and I've already tested all your principles, and you can't actually give an argument for anything here. Could you give an argument for your position instead of just continuing to restate the same things, which are just claims? Because there's no argument actually given here. Like, you just keep asserting the same self-evident principle without giving justification. So I'm just going to get back to that in the last 3 minutes before it ends.
Well, the fact is, I hold these principles. I've had them this whole time. You invited me to do this because you wanted this
did.
really bad.
Yes, and
Because
yeah,
you
I
thought you
did.
were going to
You're on the
falsify
affirmative.
my view, but all
I
you did
didn't
was,
say I was going to
try and
I
convince
never
me to
said I was going to
substantiate it,
falsify your view.
to substantiate
Yes,
it to
that's
your
what I'm asking you
liking.
to do.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Yes,
what do you mean
but
to my liking? That's
I
how logic
understand that.
works.
I
There's a difference
understand that.
between hold on,
But
bro.
that was the
There's
whole-
a
that's the
difference
whole point, is that
between a
these are my
claim
principles.
and an argument. Holy
I
shit.
understand, but what you didn't
How
do
do you justify your
was
principles
falsify it.
without
you
just going,
you just
"It's my
demanded
principle"?
I justify.
I told you it was subjectivism. It's just subjectivism. It's my principle. I don't have to justify it. It's my principle. Oh.
Well, no,
Wait,
I
wait.
justified it with Jesus Christ's sacrifice. He showed us how to love each other, and it is through sacrifice. It's not through sacrificing babies. That's the
Right, and
opposite.
then-
In fact, the
holy
Bible tells us not to do that.
It wouldn't be sacrificing the baby to remove a cancerous womb out of a woman. You dumb fuck. You're not sacrificing
Here he
the
goes
baby with
again.
the intention of unaliving
What are
it.
we at, like
This is what I'm
38?
saying.
We got to be at least 40.
What? No, I'm 27. It should make you feel really bad that a 27-year-old's having to walk you through.
No, that's not what I
the
said.
whole fucking
I
argument.
said
Dude,
38
When I hold on,
times
when I
you've
gave
thrown
you
ad hominems out.
oh 38 times, I thought
I
you said
say
you've
about
got to be at least
85
40.
times you've
I thought
cut
you
me
said
off
you've got.
and
Hold
talked
on.
over me.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I haven't
have.
seen much from you, bro. I thought you were gonna give me
Mr.
a run for
Man,
my money
I
and
don't
humble
have
me.
an affirmative position
I didn't
here.
really
I
say
don't have
anything.
an affirmative position.
Yeah, I know
sir.
that was your whole thing about this. That's why you demanded
Yes, and you've
instead of
refusing
actually
to
having
give
the
an
conversation
affirmative
with me when it first
position.
came
Holy
up.
shit.
You had to put it off till today. You had this whole dissertation written down, thinking I was
What do you mean
Catholic.
dissertation?
Yeah,
You claim
I
to be
get it,
Catholic. I
dude.
can
This was
post it later.
very important to you. I know it's not
Listen,
important to
brother,
me
I
at
get
all.
it. I get it. Calm down, Mr. Man. Look, when I originally gave you this position, right, which is hold on. I'm going to show you exactly what I said earlier. So I have it written down. It's the principle or the doctrine of double effect, right? And I said, if you take an action for the good, right, and it results in a good outcome and a bad outcome, you're not responsible for the bad outcome, right? This was my original counter argument. You couldn't contend with it.
I could.
You couldn't give an
I
argument
could.
of
You
your
wouldn't
own.
answer my hypothetical because the hypothetical contends with it. Because if that's true,
Your
if
your
what you're
hypothetical is
saying is true,
disanalogous,
this double
bro.
effect. Hold on. Then when
The
the mother
hypothetical
holds the
is
child up as a
disanalogous.
human shield, dude, you got to stop talking some point. When the mother holds
principle
the
is-
child
hold
up, you
on.
got to stop
Holy
talking at
shit.
some point. You know what I mean? When the mother
Because
holds
it was
the child, oh my
disanalogous,
God,
bro.
I can't get a fucking word out, dude. You are the most
Principle was
disingenuous
yeah.
debater, bro. That's the only
I'm not-
reason I
I'm
think people
genuinely
think you're
not.
good at this is because you
You
just
haven't
talk
given a
over
single
everyone and you
argument
don't
this entire
stop.
debate,
You just
dude.
keep talking the whole fucking
All
time.
right, time. The open discussion is now over. Thanks for that, everybody. We're gonna have a closing statements for each, and we're gonna have a Q&A where people can join the panel, ask each other questions. So, Mr. Man can go first with his closing statements. I will start the timer in 3, 2, 1.
The only reason I agreed to this was because he really wanted it. And he wouldn't answer my hypothetical when I first tried to bring it up to him. He said he had to have a formal debate in order to get this going. So that's the reason I came on here, because I've had this hypothetical that I've been positing. It's been on I have it posted on my TikTok. That is giving this hypothetical of the active pupure. And it seems everyone just wants to avoid talking about it who has this self-defense principle or whatever it is, this principle of double effect. But that principle would apply perfectly in my hypothetical because, if she's just trying to save herself, she wasn't trying to unalive the baby, but you know what? She needed to use the baby to protect herself. So the law of double effect, or whatever it is, your rule of double effect says that it's virtuous what she did. There was nothing wrong with it. So that's what this has been about. That's why you wanted me to be on the affirmative from the beginning, because you don't want to address that. You don't want to address that your view, your actual particular view, is flawed in that way. You wanted to set this up in this formal debate. Well, I'm wearing a fucking tuxedo. You better be too. But just so we could do this, just so you could avoid having your view falsified by this simple hypothetical that I posited. So that's what I think of this. Look, you could say whatever you want. You can give me a name calling, over talking. It means nothing to me. My principle doesn't change. My view on it is not going to change. And that's that.
All right, I'll stop the timer and start it for Darth Why Not. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, so basically the entire fucking debate was me trying to pull teeth to get him to actually give an argument, not just an assertion. Can't back up an assertion with more assertions. You have to back it up with an actual argument. The hypothetical that he posed to me in regards to this principle he was trying to test of double effect does not hold up. I explained to him why it doesn't hold up. It was a really shitty hypothetical, which I think anyone with 2 brain cells could figure out. Yes, I did ask for this formal debate because I wanted to stay off TikTok for a while because I've been working a lot. I've been under a lot of stress personally. So I figured, I'm just going to do a bunch of formal debates on Saturdays, and I'll do it with each individual person. I have another one next time with BT3, which, by the way, Mr. Man, I'll give you some props. You did a lot better than BT3. I do agree with you on a lot of things, which is why I think we were a lot closer tonight than it was initially, perceived to be. The thing is, though, is that you never gave an affirmative argument for your position. You never actually proved the affirmative. We can do another one where I take the affirmative if you want. I'm not just trying to make you hold to the affirmative in this debate to get a cheap shot at you. I'm doing this so that we can actually test the principles of each other. I did have the negation tonight, so I didn't have a burden of proof to prove. I just needed to show you or disprove your affirmative claims. Your claim wasn't backed up by an argument that I could critique, which is why it was like pulling teeth, which is why it seemed so hard to get a single proposition out of you that was actually substantial. Like, you can't really negate something when there is nothing to negate. I can't negate an assertion. I can only negate an argument, right? You can make an assertion for whatever. This is why the whole time I was dog walking you down to try to make you justify your beliefs, bro. It's really simple. I mean, dude, I appreciate you coming, Mr. Man. I don't have no personal beef with you. This shit's always not personal to me. Yes, I am a bit of an asshole. I talk too much. I know I was cutting you off a little bit. No problem, buddy. Alrighty, y'all. I'm going to concede my time, and we can start with Q&A.
Okay. Let me end the time. So anybody, I don't know how long I'm gonna have it, but you guys can request stuff. You can ask a quick question, like probably like give you some time to answer the question. So you can ask Darth, why not, or Mr.
Yo,
Man.
your
All
poll
right.
says Andy and Amanda.
I don't know. I couldn't change the name. We'll just say Andy is Darth, why not, and Amanda is Sister Man. I don't know how to do this thing. Yeah. All right. So I believe Mad Dog was here first. What question you want to ask to who?
I came in like at the mid.
Like, do you want to like judge first and then do Q&A?
Yeah,
like,
Wait,
we
what?
probably
We're
did that
supposed to
before.
judge first because the Q&A is not judged. Sorry.
Oh, you guys. Yeah, I'm not a judge.
They got to give their
Somebody to
scores. I
judge
forgot
it.
about the judges.
Yeah, you guys can do that.
Yeah.
Y'all's judging.
Yeah. I wonder if they're gonna.
Tally up their votes first.
I'm calculating score now.
You telepathically?
No, they're doing it at each other. They're all gonna
Wrote it on my
come off of mute
notes
and then
on
tell
my
us who
phone.
got what scores and then tell us why and give a reasoning as to why.
Gotcha.
It's usually how it goes. But yeah, Mr. Man, you did better than I thought you were gonna do. It was kind of a shit thing that happened there where you did claim to be Catholic last time we spoke, bro. You claimed to be Catholic. You said you're not a Protestant, but it's cool. It definitely
Listen,
fucked up my opening statement. I'll tell you.
Yeah,
that.
I know. I actually feel bad. I wish you would have known that. I have said that I was raised Catholic, so maybe that's what caused the confusion. That's why when you were doing it,
No.
when I heard you doing it, I felt like now I feel bad because I really wanted to give you a good debate here because you wanted to do this. So when you were saying that, I was like, oh man, now I got to just tell her that this is that whole beginning part wasn't applying.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, it's fine because I still hold to like that double effect principle, not in the exact way that Catholics would. I would apply it in terms of self-defense as well, like to a certain extent where, prior to viability or whatever, the fetus should be removed like whole, alive, and intact in this like specific medical case, but that it should be given palliative care and you should try to save it. But yeah, dude.
Because here's my
when we were
hypothetical
on
on how I look
Protect's
at
panel,
that. I look at it
Yeah.
like the guy who gets caught between the subway car and the platform, and it twists his legs all up into a balloon, and then he's stuck there and he's alive, but he's only alive as long as that subway car is there. So yeah, we want to save this man. We can't. He's alive now, and we have to get this train moving. So he's got to say his goodbyes.
Nah, brother. No, the 5 men, dude. The 5 men are on the initial track, dude.
Yeah, if I may.
Or are you saying my position?
Can the
I am
mods?
done.
If you guys
Can
are
the
ready.
mods? Sorry, can the mods do the poll? I don't know how to do it. It's not working. So yeah. Are you guys?
I am.
No, if you're a moderator, you
done.
cannot vote in the poll.
No. Can you like set it up? Not not yeah. Not vote, but like set it up.
It's already set up.
No. Yeah.
I thought I did a lot better than I was going to because I was like, formal debate. I'm like, I have no idea what to expect. I feel like I just
No,
knew
you
you were
did.
gonna come and Phil bro me the whole time. I don't know any of this stuff.
Mr. Man,
No.
should
If you
feel
were
good.
a Catholic,
feel
dude,
good.
that would have ended your whole. You should.
I
feel
am
good.
done once the other two
If
are
you were a
done.
Catholic, though.
Once they're done tallying up, Darth,
Yeah, I'm done.
it's a lot closer than you thought it was.
Well, would you guys like to do another debate, but this time it's the inverse, where Darth Why Not would be defending the proposition, and Mr. Man would be litigation. Guys
Can we
want
do a half hour though?
I'm cool with that.
half hour? Yeah,
I mean,
probably.
yeah, we could do a half hour.
It's just like it's fatiguing.
Yeah, it is. It was, dude. This whole thing was fucking. I got a mean ass headache, dude.
Because
I'm
what's
sitting here, I'm
happening
like,
is you're
fuck,
sitting there
30
trying
minutes
to
left.
teach me this stuff, and that's got to be a pain in the ass. And I'm sitting here trying to learn what you're saying as you're saying it. Like, oh god, I can't do this. My head was got baked out of my mind too, so it wasn't easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, but yeah, the last time that we did talk was on Protects Live, and it was when Jellyfish was up here. And I told you were twisting scripture because you were talking about render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. And I said, this is like the smartest Protestant, like twisting scripture this hard. And you said, I'm not a Protestant, I'm a Catholic. So that's what made me believe that you were a Catholic. It's a bit.
I mean, if I said that, it was a mistake of speech, meaning that I wasn't.
It's all good, man.
You know, I wasn't raised into Protestantism. I've never joined a Protestant church. I'm not in a church now. I left my
Yeah, no, you're
Catholic
good.
church because of very good reason, because of the edicts that they put down, caused me personally horrific things. And then I was given a sign from God himself that convinced me I was doing the right thing and I was on the right path. So I cannot, in good conscience, take anything the Catholic Church says. I have to go solo
but
scriptura.
if you are, as you say, which is a protesting Catholic, yeah, you have to be sola scriptura. I would have built a completely different counter argument if I knew you were a Protestant.
Well,
I
I was
wouldn't
saying
even
if you
have
would
gone
have,
with
you probably
any,
would have destroyed
religion.
me because I'm not a scholar. I'm not a biblical scholar. In fact,
I'm not either. I don't do exegesis or anything like that either. I was just
you're going to trip
I was
me
just
up
gonna
if you
argue
have any
Catholic doctrine.
biblical questions.
yeah,
I'm
no.
gonna somebody asked me. I'm gonna post this on my YouTube channel in my bio just in case anybody missed it, so you can rewatch. So you can rewatch it in case you guys missed it. So don't worry.
Lord, if anyone rewatches this debate, I feel bad for them. They're watching it twice. This was, I think, objectively my worst debate so far.
I think this is very
I'll be honest
civil.
in
I
a
was
minute.
surprised. Very civil. Than I
But
expected.
Yeah, Mr. Man. Mr. Man, you
Unlike
did
the
never
last
give an
one.
argument.
You guys expecting me to be more civil? I bet not.
I expected you to crash out harder than you did.
All right, are you guys finished?
Drank my coffee is what it had to do with. If I would have drank my coffee right before, it might have been different. But because
Are
I
the
had it an
judges-
hour before.
Are the judges finished?
Fortress, Mac, you guys done?
He's having a bit of trouble with the scoring. I'm just explaining something to him. It's fine.
Ah, okay.
Give me like 5 minutes.
That's fine. I
Unless-
can go over
yeah,
first.
you want to go
if you want.
first? Yeah.
That's perfectly fine. So how I'm going to break this down, Mr. Man, so you can understand the scoring. I'm going to give you a total together, what your totals were, and then I'm going to give you your opening total, your open exam total, and then your closing total, okay? So we have 48 points to Mr. Man, and we have 59 points to Darth. This is only going to be an 11-point difference. We have 12 points in Mr. Man's opener and 15 in Darth's. We have 21 points in Mr. Man's open, and we have 32 in Darth's. We have 15 in Mr. Man's close, and we have 12 in Darth's.
Okay.
Mac, you want me to go first, or are you still sorting out your score? Oh, but,
Just dropped him.
We lost the judge.
Nah, he'll be back.
Don't
I'm
know what's going
thinking
on.
it's because he was on teacup for too long, and then as soon as he came back, he
It
kicked him.
didn't look like he was on Teacup. It looked like he was just there. It didn't look like he was on Teacup.
Okay, well,
Called me. He scored me $1 billion, and he gave you just one.
you know, what's the argument for that? Yeah, Mac, are you done, or do you need time? I can go first, it's fine.
Might have to wait until the 23rd century. Yeah, we can hear you.
Perfect. 1 second.
Fortress put his up on. Could you big screen Fortress? He has his whole shit laid out, I guess.
Yeah, guys.
Damn, I can't stand you, Darth.
I can't see what it says at all.
Do I need to read it for people, or
Yeah, Fortress, you could explain it yourself. That way they know what they're looking at, because it's just a bunch of numbers, bro.
No, what I mean, my vision, I can't even see it. It looks like a barcode.
It looks like a barcode.
Yeah, it's just totally blurred. Let me see if I can find my glasses. Oh, there they are. Okay.
Fortress,
I'll-
you gotta read it, brother.
Oh, now
I'll
I
read
can see
it.
it.
It's fine. Yeah.
Oh, I'll read it. Don't worry, I got it.
Yeah, you did a lot better than I thought you did. So that's a big plus on your side. There are a couple of pretty major issues with your argument, which is why I scored it the way I did. That being said, this was still the closest debate that I've seen from him. Right? I think you did really well.
Let me take a picture of this.
Yeah, right.
well, Tone, if you want to debate next, you gotta request a formal debate with somebody.
Are we only allowed to challenge people to formal debates, or can we challenge them to other things?
Yeah, sure.
No,
If you want a formal debate, you gotta let me know. Like, give me some time. Set it up.
I want to put an
Your
open
site-
challenge to anyone who wants to play Warhammer 40,000.
For you.
Are you
I
serious?
thought you were about to say War Thunder. I was gonna say let's fucking run it.
Who said they would destroy me?
Don't.
Who was it?
Bryce want to won somebody? Did Bryce want to
Tone.
won somebody in Fortnite?
Oh yeah, Bryce wanted to 1v1 me for $1,000. I was like, no, you're gonna shit on me, dude.
I
What
also
army do you play?
I also 1v1 Ben debates, and yeah, he can tell you how that went.
why was that a woman's laugh?
That was my fiance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Genesis, we can do a formal debate.
Okay, well, I'm gonna wait
Why you
for
on
Matt.
Genesis like that? Tone's below you.
Tone, you what army do you play?
Nah, I don't play that game.
Oh, damn. You
All
got me
right,
so
so
excited.
we're waiting. I guess we're waiting for Mac's decision. Kind of selling right now.
My brother, come back to the app, please.
While he's
My brother.
Wait, hold on. I'm almost done. Hold on. Wait, hold on.
All right.
well, he's not okay.
That's
While
a
he's waiting,
question.
Mr. Man, while he's waiting, do you have any questions about your scoring or anything from Mere Fortress and how he
Oh
scored
yeah,
you?
go ahead and ask us, bro.
Like how you scored? What is the score? What's the final score?
So we both gave different scores, slightly different. I had you at 48 to 59. He had you at, I believe, 30 to what was it? 58. We score on 4 metrics. The metrics are going to be social dominance, rhetoric, facts and logic, and your organization and clarity.
Well, then I think you guys overscored me.
No, I'm
No.
telling you, dude, you did a lot better than I thought you would. And I'm not trying to be an asshole by saying this or whatever, like, but you really did a lot better. I'm very impressed.
Listen,
You stuck
I'm not
consistent. You
interested, bro.
stayed organized. You did not let him drag the conversation away. You stuck to your own argument. You did perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Well, I'll know for next time that I should be interrupting more and talking
It's not
over.
necessarily the interruptions. So the thing is, right, like if you interrupt, and I know you're just interrupting because you want to avoid the point, for example, right? Then whoever does that, I'm going to penalize them very, very heavily. But you kept it to a minimum, which was okay. There was the main reason why there's like a 28-point gap is because you missed out on some what I thought were very, very crucial concepts. And the first part where you failed the breakfast question, that was a huge thing. That was a huge rhetorical one. So it is what it is.
Okay, you got. I'm back in town. Okay, can somebody beatbox me, please? Thank you very much. That's what I got in total.
8.
What
So
the
listen,
fuck?
man. With all due respect, bro, you did. I'm sorry, bro. Listen. You did a lot better than I expected, but you know,
Mac, you left out the
I don't
closer.
really have
Mac.
much to say.
Mac, you left out the closer.
Out the closing.
Oh yeah, that's my first time doing this.
Yeah, I should have a point for
It's,
next
your
one.
it's his first time
This is
judging.
my
It's his
first
first
time.
time judging. But
You gotta wait that
Holy
long for
shit.
that.
This is my first time doing this. Hold on.
Come on, I should have the
Fuck.
9.
All right,
I just got
all right.
9.
You gotta wait that long.
Hold on.
You gotta wait-
Y'all are concerned about the fact he's missing a closer. How about the fact that
Yeah.
he didn't
Yeah,
math
you need to
any of that
discussions.
correctly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Is everybody done? Can we move on to the Q&A?
Yeah, I believe we can.
He's still recalculating, bro.
Calculate his
Well, we need to give him.
Well,
We
that
need to give him a
closing-
minute. He's got that Windows loading screen.
Yeah, that closing might change the score completely.
Fuck's sake. No, actually it won't, because you can only score 20 for the closer, which means that you can score 28. It doesn't change.
Mac, you're fired. Fired.
Mac, you're gonna take that from a woman, bro. You're gonna take that from a woman. Challenge her to a fight, bro.
Challenge to the debate.
Look, Mac filled in because Meatball didn't want to fucking do it.
Meatballs
Yeah.
I didn't have
running.
anybody else with formal debate experience. If I had somebody else with formal debate like judging experience, then I would have got them. But maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, Sarah, I hope you're listening in the comments. This
She
is
didn't want to
because
do it.
of
She's not
you.
listening. She's I was busy, but I'm in the comments listening to who you be. Get your ass out of here.
This is why you don't rely on women for anything, bro.
Give me a 9.
Weren't you beefing with her the other day? Like,
Was it? I
yeah.
don't remember.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I don't know. Bro, Mac, that's the same fucking
Mac.
score.
Yo,
No, wrong picture. There you go, buddy. Talking.
check again.
What?
Check again, bitch. Check again, bitch. Hey, fuck
All
all you.
right,
This is my
I
first
think
time doing this shit. Okay? Fuck you.
all right. I think we've seen that. Now you can finally go to the Q&A. All right. Up here first. So, what question does Mad Dog have to ask?
Well, first off, I just want to say I wasn't really here for the entire thing, but I did hear the more toward the end. I think I've seen both of y'all do like debates, and I think like whenever it comes to like questioning the other's view, I think the ad hominem and the like talking over each other, especially in a formal style debate, I think it doesn't really like it's not coherent. Like I can guarantee y'all probably none of us understood what y'all were saying whenever y'all were talking over each other. And Mac, dude, this is your first and probably your last time judging. That's my advice for you.
You're
Got
gonna
that right,
take that from
motherfucker.
you're gonna take that from her, bro.
Not gonna lie.
You know
But I
what?
think I
Not
think
gonna
I
lie.
I'm
definitely
going to repeal your right to vote, man.
oh,
Listen to me. I'm going to repeal your right to vote, okay?
wait, hold on. I wasn't finished. So both of y'all did really well. Mr. Mann, I was actually extremely surprised that you held your decorum so well. I definitely think that y'all both could have done better whenever it came to like the little nitpicking on each other. Fortress, put the fucking shit away. But yeah. And my second question is for everybody in here: should I keep the new profile picture or should I go back to the old one?
It wasn't even a question. It was just
Even
woman
better, like
prattle.
make it the standard TikTok profile. No one wants to see that
You
shit.
wearing change it to you wearing whatever like Muslim ladies wear.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
What is that, a burqa? Yeah, wear a burqa.
Okay, but
Yo,
yeah,
S
but like I
S man
said, both of y'all are
Well, I'm probably gonna get
All
canceled.
right,
so-
we'll just move on. All right. Yeah.
Go
So,
on, you motherfucker.
Mr. Tone, what's your question, Mr. Tone?
Yeah. So first off, congratulations to the win. It was a pretty okay debate. Darth, that opening was very, very serious. I see you brought out DDE, which was a good idea. Yeah, you came out real strong there. I mean, I think you dominated the entire debate, but I'm pretty sad that that opening didn't work. Since he denounced the faith, which is fine. But how were you feeling throughout that whole debate? What were your thoughts? What was in the back of your head while you were doing the blasting? Darth, that's for you.
I muted myself, I think. Sorry, I had someone calling me a P3DO in the comments. Yeah, no, it would have been amazing because I think for a Catholic that held that position, that would have just immediately like won the debate. I don't know how they would get out of that if they held the same view. But yeah, obviously it didn't work. So I was just under a false impression. But I just had to go off the top of my head for the rest of it and hold to DDE at that point. There was nothing else I could really salvage from the opening.
So towards Mr. Man, I guess my only question to you, honestly, and I'm just being honest. Why would you hold this position? That's really my only question. Like, do you think women should just literally unalive, like, for the if it is the case that they would unalive?
Well, like I said, if the mother's holding her baby and the active pupua comes in, she should take the pupu bean. So, in any instance that's comparable to that, so if if the choice is between her and the child, save the child. That's my principle. I'm sticking to it. I care more about kids than I do adults. What do you want me to tell you?
Interesting. Well, I guess I'll just go into what I thought. Well, I think that's what was in question the entire time. I think that was the premise and what Darth was trying to get past, and I don't think there was any really wasn't as analogous as you thought it would be. I think also DDE does hold up very, very well in this situation. And I do think it does kind of put a damper on the pro-life movement. If we were to say, yeah, women, you just have to unalive. Like I think that does kind of put a damper on the movement and makes it seem like, oh, you're just an incubator. But I mean, like I said, even in the case that it were the life of the mother, obviously we would leave that up to them. Would it be an overly virtuous action? Yes. Do I think that they are required to do it? No. Yeah, good debate. I think I do, but I do.
What the difference is that you see it as a virtuous action, whereas I see it as a duty.
Yeah, Darth did go over that and say how deontology or the deontological framework kind of just seems kind of crazy there. So yeah, and I would agree, because if it is the case that like we're to hold to this standard, and in any case we aren't to fold on that, you just fall into a lot of holes. That's why deontology is like kind of shat on. Like if it were the case that you were to lie to like stop your child from getting raped, I think it would be permissible for you to lie. But a framework like that would be too strict and say, well, I shouldn't lie. So I to a bit of holes and very
It would be perceived as a much lesser sin, lying, than and say, oh, we'll compare it to being the child being raped, instead of what it's really happening, where you're saying your lesser sin is murdering the baby to save the mother from passing away. So it's not analogous. You know, it always seems like when you guys come up with analogies, you make them less analogous.
Well, you're just weighing. All you're doing is just weighing the wrong there. That's all you're doing. You're weighing the wrong. That's all you're doing. I'm saying that these would just be wrong in general, which would just be true, correct? But in a deontological framework, you just have to stick by these strict rules. So if it were the case, lying would just be wrong, unless you're willing to add a threshold to that. Which
Well, no, because here's the thing. The mother passing away due to some event is not a sin. Unaliving the child is a sin. Sacrificing yourself for your child is a duty. Your child being sacrificed to save you is a sin.
First off, just to be clear, I don't think that there's anything wrong if you were to sacrifice yourself. I don't see that this is wrong. Like, sure, I mean, I don't think
virtuous, but not a duty.
Yeah, I would say in that case, DDE, the principle that Darth had put up, and the one that you obviously within the faith that you had left, yeah, this would be a thing. So I mean, I don't see how this is like wrong. It's pretty much you're pretty much, I guess, kind of leaning back onto that point. I mean, you can't. I mean, this is what the whole debate was about, and I guess is the part you got stuck on. So if you have a problem, I guess you would have to look up things about DDE, which would just be the doctrine of like double effect, and especially the way Darth was using it. Like I said, I mean, well, like Darth said, you can probably, critique his view the next time if you ever want to, take the negation and critique his stance. But at this point, it just seems like DDE is just unbothered at this point. That's just all I have to say about the debate.
All right, we're going to move on to the next person. All right. Ooh, so I think Mr. Bryce was here first. So yeah.
Yeah, I was. Sorry, no. Mr. Mann, I kind of jumped out for about 20 minutes towards the end. I came back about when there was about 5 minutes left. I don't know if you answered this question or not, but how does virtue ground obligation?
Proximity and the station of the mother is what grounds her obligation.
Oh, then that would just change the question. Why does that ground the obligation?
Why does her station ground the obligation?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because she's the only one in a position to have the child as her ward.
Okay. What? How does that ground the obligation though?
I would well, because you're going to keep reducing me to. How deep into the reduction do you want to go? She has the obligation because children are precious and their adults are charged with protecting them. That is so because that will be grounded in the biblical understanding of self-sacrifice and what love is.
When you use an is to ground an ought, it's just going to lead you to an infinite regress.
Yes, until I eventually end up with God.
Until you eventually end up with. Yeah, you could just end up with God. God would ground the obligation. But then you'd have to prove that God prescribes people to self-sacrifice for the children.
Well, I think that's the whole message of the scriptures is Christ's sacrifice for us. He was showing us how to love. He is the law. He is the truth. So what he did was show us what it is. So sacrifice is the right thing, and sacrificing your children is not.
Okay, so you're saying because Jesus sacrificed himself on the cross, then we ought sacrifice ourselves for other people as well?
Yeah, you could say that, sure.
Even if we like let's just say like a friend, we know this friend.
Or a stranger.
Or even a stranger we should sacrifice ourselves for.
Well, I wouldn't say you'd have as much of you wouldn't have a parental or custodial obligation to a stranger because there's degrees of separation.
But you have a biblical one, right?
But you would to love thy neighbor as yourself.
Yeah. Do you adhere to sola scriptura?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I have any. I think I'm just gonna let that marinate there. I don't have any further questions. I appreciate it, Protect.
All right, you're welcome. All right, we have to move on to the next person. Who was here first? I think Genesis might have been next.
I think Meatball wanted
yeah,
to
Genesis
say something about property rights.
Jenny, Jenny can go first. Johnny.
Most people, have the intuition that anybody should have to self-sacrifice for anybody, right? And when we say when we make these alt claims in the normative sense, right, we're talking about what you must do, right? So I guess my question would be, right, is let's just say if there was a pregnant woman and right. Would be to have an abortion. Do you think the enforcement arm at hand should tie this woman down and force her to self-sacrifice?
Everyone in the comments is saying it's super laggy, and then guests are dropping off because I think it's your connection, dude.
Yeah, I'm getting that. Yeah, I am getting that. Yes, some people. Yeah. About now.
Meatball, because she was here first. But I do have a question I want to ask, but
Yeah.
I will. Yeah, I'll swap the Meatball.
Okay. Yeah, I'll
What
get.
woman?
Yeah, Paul was here first. Yeah. Wait, what was Johnny saying?
Said that under no circumstances anyone ever have an obligation to self-sacrifice for anyone else. Was that what you had mentioned in the beginning?
Yeah, I think most people hold the intuition that it's that you shouldn't have to self-sacrifice for anybody, right?
Okay.
I agree that most parents in any situation, right? I would say especially outside of pregnancy are probably going to be more than willing to self-sacrifice themselves for their child, right? But I don't think they should be obligated to. So my question was what if there was a pregnant woman, and the only way for her to survive this was to have an abortion? Would you say that the enforcement hand that we have would have in our current society should force this woman to self-sacrifice, even if they had to tie her down and force her to self-sacrifice?
Well, that's not how we don't do pre-crime here in the United States. So if it was treated as an unlawful act, the act of committing this abortion, well, then you wouldn't be tying anyone down. You would just be punishing them after the fact. and it would be everyone involved would be punished. But I want to ask you about this claim you made, because if you're going to say that under no circumstance should anyone be forced to self-sacrifice for anyone else or be obligated to, well, then how do you explain anyone who's an armed serviceman? Their job is to self-sacrifice, or a fireman or a policeman. They are signing on to this, and they're putting themselves in a station for which they must self-sacrifice to fulfill their duties.
No,
So we have these duties in society. Why all of a sudden are women exempt from the most ancient and natural duties?
under any obligation to like lay their life down for you. They don't have to do this.
Well, maybe not a policeman, but firemen do it all the time. Armed servicemen do it all the time.
But they're not under any,
It's in the job description. It
yeah,
is
but
their duty to do so. If they were to
no,
run
Mr.
from
Man,
battle, they would be committing a crime.
they are under no obligation. Like if your house goes up in flames, right? They are under no obligation that they work in a position to where they would have to run inside your house to save you. In no circumstance would they even be charged with this if they didn't.
So you're telling me that firemen don't have any duty to run in there?
Right? Like if they could get you out without having to self-sacrifice themselves, then yeah, they're probably going to do this. But I would say they're not under any obligation. I just don't think you're understanding like what this actually like what like the effects of this would have on society if we like.
No, I don't think you understand what the effects of what you're saying would have on society, because what you're saying is that now all of these people that we have charged with the station of protecting us, at giving their lives, sacrificing themselves to protect us, putting themselves in harm's way, they don't have any obligation. So they could all simultaneously just decide, you know what, I'm not running into that burning building. I'm not going to go and run into battle. I'm going to turn tail and run. And then their superiors would have no means to stop them. Because right now, if you would turn tail and run from a battle, they would put a pew-pew bean in your back. And justly so. It's desertion. Because it's a dereliction of duty. We have duties, whether you want to accept them or not. I know you want to believe that no one has the obligation to self-sacrifice. Nobody has that duty, but then you're wrong. Many do, depending on your station. I have a duty to my children. The fireman has a duty to run into that building because he took the job. Now there's the emergency. He's the guy on the scene. He has an obligation. You don't just turn tail and run now.
So you're saying that like if like my house goes up in flames, right, and my wife is inside my house, and like firemen and the firemen show up, right, and like the only way to get my wife out of this building would be to like, you know, if two of them run in, you would like require one of them to self-sacrifice their life in order to save my wife.
If they believe they can get her out of there, they're going to go in. It's their duty to.
Right, but they are no under obligation to self-sacrifice their own life to save your life. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how anyone else to like dumb this down.
No, I think you're just you're saying that, but the evidence is showing otherwise, because we do have these duties.
That duty absolute.
What did you say?
Is the duty absolute?
It's depending on your station.
Then you
Duties and obligations are different, but depending on who you are and what happen to be your duties and obligations at that moment. So when you're in it, like Darth's analogy with the there was you either sacrifice yourself to save the child and your wife dies, or vice versa. So in that scenario, your duty is to protect your child. In that moment, your duty is to protect your child. And so is your wife's. It's her duty as well. So, yes, you both have the obligation to self-sacrifice, where the child does not have any obligation. This is what you guys are totally missing. Children have no obligation to self-sacrifice for their parents. So when you're saying, oh, we'll just sacrifice the child in the womb, well, that child is innocent, has no obligations. Their station is only as the protected.
okay? Maybe I don't want to
The mother
take
has
this
a
away
different
from.
station.
I don't want to take
Go
this
ahead.
away from Johnny because it's his question, but I just really quickly, and then I'll pass it back to him. What did you? Maybe I missed it. What did you say the biblical or the Christian grounding for this would be?
It would be that we don't sacrifice our children to Moloch.
Yeah, but you understand that that
Hold on,
would
you'll
be
get your
in
turn,
a
Mr. Fortress.
situation. Okay,
You'll get your turn.
I mean, how many people am I going to debate
Wait,
tonight?
Shawnee
Come on.
finish this question.
I'm
I
not
think
even the
this-
winner.
Yeah. How many questions?
I think too. Well, I think too, Mr. Man, right, is like have to take this action, and you just say like, oh, well, because like they have some sort of like custodial relationship to this child, right? Like, would you say that like like if I had like some other child over at my house, like my friend's child, like would you say that I should have to self-sacrifice my life like for this other child that's not mine?
You took on the role of custodian when they acquiesced the role to you. You accepted it, so now you are in charge of them. You are there. You're protecting those children. Those minors are in your custody. Yes, they are your ward at that moment.
Yeah, I don't think I have any further questions, but yeah, I think you both did very well. Darth, good job, Mr. Man. You did really good, man. You did better than I thought you did. We're going to. So yeah, good job, guys.
Thank you for asking your question. We're going to move on to Mr. Genesis.
Also
Dolly wouldn't
protect
Who?
to help cut down on like I was saying to help cut down on like how much debate is going back and forth. You could just set a timer to like 5 minutes for each guest. That way, like there's no one coming up asking like 20 minutes worth of questions, and then someone else comes up
Yeah,
and they only like have like a small. thing.
Genesis was next. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Genesis, go.
I have one question for both Mr. Man and why not. So
But you're
if
breaking
it
up
was
bad,
the
Genesis.
drop down
case,
and come back. Drop down and come back, bro.
Why are there 2 KDs? My screen is
That's Fortress. Fortress has her profile picture.
Fortress.
Just trolling her. Yeah, come back up and then restart his timer because I couldn't hear him.
Yo, W Mr. Man, bro.
W Mr. Man. I can't format the pictures the right way for it to actually appear. Like it won't
No,
let me.
screenshot
Okay,
it.
you guys hear me now?
Screenshot the page. Yeah, go ahead.
Earlier, I totally thought it was just the thing glitching. I didn't realize it was you trolling me.
anyways, yeah, so this is going to be a question for both Mr. Man and Darth. Why not? So if it was the case that your dad was in you and you were in your mom, which direction would you move to get out of it?
I want to get out of that.
Yeah,
Yo,
so
oh no,
Wait,
is this that
what?
fucking no, don't even fucking Genesis. Are you gonna troll? Or are you about to
Oh, yeah, can you ask
ask
a
an
serious
actual
question?
fuck question?
Okay, good.
Yeah, bro, come on, you fucking.
So,
It's
Meatball
dead.
was
Do anything to
next.
see him
I
right now.
think I was next.
What is okay, 3, 2, 1. What is Meatball's question?
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait a minute, was it? Okay, never mind.
I
Actually,
think Scarred actually. I think Scarred was before me.
it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Ladies
Um.
first, yeah.
So this would be to Mr. Man. Because I came in late. I'm sorry. I don't know if this was addressed, but what if it's the case that a mother has other children, and we had a scenario like Darth had proposed, where the likelihood of the fetus being viable is 0.0000 whatever one. It's so astronomically low. But if we force her to sustain the pregnancy, she's almost certainly going to unalive. But she has other children behind. I'm curious what that duty to children, how that would play out in the case that she has other children.
It is relevant because in my hypothetical, sometimes I play it as though the woman in the mall has a sister watching her 5 kids, and the sister is a big fat type 2 diabetic that's abusive. So it doesn't really matter to me because in the moment, she is responsible for that child.
Is she not responsible for her other children?
Well, sure, but someone else is obviously taking care of him if she's in the hospital, so they're going to have to watch him.
Well, what if we can just stipulate that there really wouldn't be anybody, and that if she were to unalive, those children are going to end up in like protective services, and it would be like somebody, a stranger, you would still hold the view that she would be obligated to self-sacrifice, even in spite of having other children who need her.
Yep.
Okay. The only other thing I would just say is that when it comes to self-sacrifice, we're talking about firemen. We're talking about people who jump in like a line of fire and self-sacrifice in that way. We deem them to be heroic. That's like the highest level of altruism. And I think it's precisely because there is no obligation. It's because it would be seen as so unreasonable to ever expect anybody to do this, that if they are to do it, we see it as being like so incredibly virtuous that we respect them for that. But it just highlights the lack of expectation generally. But with that said, I know I came in late, but I think both arguments were dog shit. I think the rhetoric was ass from both of you, and I also
I
hate
think
both
you're
of
a
you.
woman and
I hate
therefore
both of
you
you,
don't have
and
anything.
also
But you're a
clearly
woman, why are
Mac
you
was
speaking?
the best
First
judge.
Tim
No
2:12.
table for you.
First Tim
Wait,
2:12.
wait, I'm
All right, we're gonna
sorry,
move on.
Meatball. That entire opinion's negated because you're a woman. Sorry.
And you're fat. And you're fat.
All
So
right, Get Scared was here, and
All
then
right.
Katie can go next.
All right. So my first question, actually, my first two questions are to the host. Now that he said that, one, can you read?
Oh, no, I can't.
All right, cool. Second, why are we letting women come up here and not ask questions? Well, actually, she did ask questions, but I mean, we're just letting women up here, right? Anyways, I'm just kidding. Actually, my first question is to Mr. Mann. What denomination are you exactly?
Like I said, I am just a heretic as far as the Catholic Church is concerned.
So you don't follow any, so you're non-denominational, like maybe Protestant, like.
Solo scriptura. Am I Protestant? I don't know. Maybe in practice I am. I don't go to church. I talk directly to him, and if he
don't
answers,
trigger
he
me.
answers.
Don't trigger me. Don't trigger me. Don't say that.
Fortress, shut up.
Yeah, Fortress, shut up. Gosh. And then my second question, I just couldn't wait to see it later. So, and actually, I don't really want to rewatch it too much. But how would you feel if you hadn't had breakfast this morning? What was your answer?
I feel
serious
fine.
questions. Serious questions.
It is a serious. No, I just want to know his answer.
I'd feel fine,
You'd feel fine. Okay.
as I do right now.
No, I was wondering your answer before.
Oh, my answer before was I'd feel as I feel right now. I'd feel fine
Oh, okay.
because I didn't have breakfast this morning.
Got it. Okay. That's all I had to ask. All right. Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Thought he wouldn't leave either. All right, Katie was next. What is Katie's question?
So I mostly just have a question for Mr. Mann. Kind of, Meeple hit on one of my points, and then I wanted to know how far into the medical does this go? So, for example, with tubal ectopic pregnancy, this is something where we've never ever ever had a baby survive. By the time that that usually intervention has to be done, it's usually very very serious and emergent. And it is always urgent, if not yet emergent. So is this a scenario of baby is 6 weeks along? There is no chance of survival for mom and baby if it continues. There's no ability for reimplantation. There's literally nothing that we can do except for let mom unalive. Does she have to do that in that scenario? Like, how far does this go?
No, of course not.
So wouldn't that negate your entire premise of self-sacrifice then?
Not at all. Because what are you sacrificing for if you're both going to perish?
So that's the thing, though, is with all of the medical stuff that these scenarios, when mom is going to not live, baby's not going to live either. Unless you're arguing for some kind of scenario of like maybe she has a premature rupture of membranes and like they just sew her up and they let her unalive and then they put her on life support when she's brain dead and lets baby maybe hopefully grow a little bit. Like, is that what we're talking? I'm just trying to understand.
Okay, Katie,
How far does it go?
I've listened to you for a very long time, and you've been very clear that there is no real scenario where they're ever going to need to intentionally unalive the child to save the mother's life. So
Yes.
this whole debate wasn't at all about pragmatics to begin with. So to try and apply them to this
I'm just curious.
principle is kind of redundant and just wrong. And I think that's where everyone seems to be getting confused, because I never believed there was ever such a circumstance wherein, oh, to save the mother's life, we have to unalive the child. Or if we don't unalive the child, then the mother's going to pass away, but the child's going to live. This is the scenario for which we're talking about, which is why I always used the analogy with the active pupure, because it is a direct analogy to that specific principle that we're discussing. Because we're obviously not discussing the pragmatics. Like you said, Katie, there is no medical necessity to ever unalive the child.
Yes.
It's
So
correct, right?
in neither of these scenarios that I've presented to you would we need to take a direct action to end the life of the child. There is no scenario that necessitates that we do such a thing to end the life of the mother, but it also does mean that there are times that we have to deliver baby whole, alive, and intact early. Ectopic pregnancy is one of these scenarios where we have to separate mom and baby to save the life of mom, and there is absolutely nothing that we can do to save baby. So I'm just wondering how far this self-sacrifice principle goes. I agree with you that there's no no situation that requires that we directly end the life of the baby. I also don't hold a self-sacrifice principle. They are not the same thing.
I don't know what was the question again.
So how far into the medical aspect of this goes? When do you no longer hold the self-sacrifice principle? Is it you've already said that you would not force a mom to remain pregnant and unalive with her ectopic baby, but with like this PPROM example where baby is coming, there's nothing else we can do. We're gonna sew her up. We're gonna force baby to stay in. We know mom's gonna unalive. We're gonna put her on brain. Like we're gonna pretend all this works this way, right? We know mom's gonna unalive. We're gonna force that baby to stay inside. We're going to let mom unalive, put mom on somatic support, and hope for the best for the baby. Is that like how far this goes? Or I'm just curious. I want to know exactly where that lies.
From what I understand, listen, I obviously don't have your medical knowledge, but from what I understand of the ectopic, it's in the fallopian tube, meaning that there's no way this child is ever going to survive. In fact, by the time they perform this procedure,
you already answered that question. You already answered the ectopic question. I'm asking about the scenario I've described to you of baby is coming very, very early, pre-viability. It's called PPROM. So do we sew mom up and force baby to stay in and have mom unalive and then put her on somatic support like Adriana Smith was? So she's died and maybe we have some possibility of hope for baby to live is what I'm asking you.
All right.
no, I don't think intentionally allowing the mother to pass away if the child isn't going to live or is going to live.
Maybe we don't know. I think that really defeats your entire argument.
Well, I mean, it has a lapse of 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But you did ask. But I'm gonna have to move on to Atom. I'll give you 5 minutes. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, so I guess like my question is really for you, Mr. Man. I'm sorry you're like taking all the heat, but I actually like agree with you on like the sacrificing stuff. Like I think that women should sacrifice, or not that they should sacrifice. I think it's virtuous for them to sacrifice, but I don't think it's an ought thing. I don't think it's something that we should require them to do. So like my question is like, why do you draw that distinction? Why do you think that it's not something where it's just virtuous? Why do you think it's something that we ought to do? Like,
Well,
why do you
because-
draw that distinction?
Because the child cannot defend itself. The child cannot do anything to affect anything around it. So for the mother to choose to sacrifice another person for herself is not just immoral, it's dastardly. So there's the idea of sacrificing your child for yourself is satanic, and I must oppose it in any ideation of it. I'm sorry, I have to oppose this.
Yeah, I definitely understand where you're coming from. I guess I would ask, like, kind of like in like the cliff situation, like let's say like you're dangling off the cliff and your child is hanging by your ankle and you either have to like kick them off or you both fall. Do you think you should both fall? That's what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying that.
So
I'm not
you
saying
don't
you
think
should
that
kick
it's
them
you don't
off.
think it's an absolute. So when do you like draw that? Where do you draw that line of like, okay, this is
I'm
virtuous and
drawing
this
the
is
line
odd?
at it's one or the other. You keep everyone keeps doing this.
Because it's
If
kind of a
the
tricky thing. Because I do
principal,
agree with you. I think that it's
no, but
horrible. I
hold
don't think
on.
that any
If the
parent should have to
principal,
sacrifice themselves. Like I agree with you. I think that like I don't think you should sacrifice your children for you. I agree. I think like for me personally, I had 2 heart attacks with my son. People know this, and I was like given a very grim sentencing with my first daughter. So like I totally understand coming from this perspective of somebody who chose to not cancel, to not abort, even given the health circumstances, where I agree with you. But I wouldn't go so far as to say that like this is an obligation in all cases that a woman has to self-sacrifice. I think that takes it a step too far.
well, I don't. I think it is a mother's duty to, just like it would be a father's duty to self-sacrifice for his wife and children.
But I think
So
that there are also
it's
like
just the natural
realistic,
duty you
there's
have.
also like reason, there's also realistic things that we have to consider in these cases, right? Like realistically, if your child was given a life sentence and was like unaliving due to cancer on a medical bed, and somebody came in with a pew pew and was like, it's you or them, and your child was like gonna probably like unalive within like a week anyways due to their circumstance, you might have to choose your child over you, but you would say in that circumstance that the parent would still choose the child over themselves, even with such a grim sentencing.
Well, is the child in their custody? Do they have this duty to protect the child?
Well, yeah, that they're their parent. But they also are in the custody
I
of
mean, depends
doctors
on
at the
the age
time,
of
but
the
the doctors are
child.
in
If
the
the child's an
room.
adult, then they don't have this obligation anymore.
So, like, a neonate with an 80% chance of unaliving within a week. Like, there are a lot of things that are given, like, that are like this.
Yeah, and the principle would still stand. It just seems like everyone is trying to either make it a realistic thing, which it's not from the onset, as KD described already. So it's about the principle, and the principle being ought mothers self-sacrifice to save their children over sacrificing their children to save themselves, which is the principle. And all of you guys are arguing that it would be nice for her to do that, but she doesn't have to. If she wants to use the child as a human shield, sure,
Yeah.
she can.
Well, I think just because I only have like 1 minute left, I think that like what the greatest distinction is here is that you're assuming that the alternative to self-sacrificing in all cases is abortion, but that's not the alternative in all cases. I mean, like most people, if they hold a self-defense principle, they hold it with a proportional force. So like for me, I hold a self-defense principle, but like proportional force would be like induced labor, and then like we'll try to save the fetus. Like it doesn't have to be a termination as a result of what this is. It doesn't have to be an abortion. There are other things that we can look at,
Which is why the principle
opposed to
wouldn't apply.
abortion. But you would still say in those cases, like even if like it was an opposition, or if the alternative, I think I'm out of time. No, sorry. If the alternative was not an abortion, you would support it. So it's just in the case of abortion where you don't think that she should have an abortion over a self-sacrifice.
I don't think that women should unalive their children to save themselves.
But you would be for like the induced labor and things like that at like viability.
If you could save both patients, then yes. If you can't, if you can only save one, but it's one or the other, then save the child. I don't know why that is so hard to.
All right.
No, I totally get where you're coming from.
All right, you answer this question. Now we'll move on to Hector French. You have some bars.
Please ask Darth a question.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1, go.
No, I actually got it. I got it for you, Mr. Man. What was your? I know that on the prompt, you agree with the statement. What was your argument for it?
How many people am I debating tonight?
Well, hold on. I just want to know your argument.
My argument is that due to a parent's parental obligation, if it came down to it, they should self-sacrifice to save their child because they are obligated to protect their child. The child is not obligated to sacrifice for their parent. So they have no obligation to the parent. The
Okay.
parent does.
Okay. And where does this obligation come from?
Obligation. It comes from God. All right?
Okay. And can you substantiate that?
Yes, because we're talking about two possible choices. Either self-sacrifice, which is what Jesus taught us, was the purest form and expression of love from one person to another, or sacrificing your children to Moloch, which is forbidden. So, biblically speaking, you are not to sacrifice your children to Moloch.
Okay. So you just will base it off the idea of what you perceive to believe coming from the Bible.
I'm basing it off of what the Bible says. Yeah.
Okay. And if somebody has a differing opinion on the Bible than you,
Then they'd be wrong.
it would be wrong. Okay. And that's based off of just
It's based off of
your
what it
correct
says in the
understanding.
Bible. Yep.
Okay. And so the
If you
Bible
could
will say
disprove me wrong,
that
maybe
in
I'll
this,
change my mind.
well, hold up. Yeah. So in this scenario, the Bible says that you have to, in a scenario, unalive yourself in order to even have a possibility of a child being alive.
Wait, say it again?
So the Bible says that you would have to unalive yourself in order to save to even have the possibility of saving a child.
I don't think the Bible says that specifically, no.
Okay, so if the idea is that a mother must go through with unaliving herself for even a slight possibility of saving a child, you agree that that's not in the Bible?
That verse, this specific phrasing, no, that specific phrasing, it would not be in any verse that I know of.
Okay.
But I'm no
Okay,
big
so it's
book
not in the
scholar.
Bible. It's not in the Bible that a mother should unalive herself during a pregnancy, even if knowing that it's just a possibility of saving a life. It's not in the Bible.
No, what's not in the Bible also, it doesn't say
Okay.
that women could sacrifice their children to Moloch. It says they
Okay, so
should have.
that wasn't the argument. The argument is under the possibility. So as what we're doing is we're testing your principle that women under any scenario, even if it's just a possibility, they ought to unalive themselves.
No,
That's your argument.
I didn't say they ought to
That's your
unalive
position. I'm
themselves.
sorry.
No, why do
So what
people?
else?
How many people are going to come up here with this?
So is
story?
that, wait, hold up. Is that self-sacrificing, is knowing the idea that you will be unalived?
Say again?
Is the idea of self-sacrificing the idea of knowing that you will commit to an action knowing that you will be unalived?
Sure.
Yeah, so that's all I was saying.
Okay.
Is that it?
Yep, that's it.
All right, we're gonna move to the next person. I believe Neo was next. I'll give him.
Hold on to the next person before me. I'm still
Okay.
trying to formulate the question properly.
Are the judges gonna ask questions?
All the yes.
Okay.
Finish this.
Yeah, Guy can go.
If you don't mind, I would like to ask a clarifying question. It might actually help with a couple of the questions that are being directed towards Mr. Mann.
Yeah. Or Darth as well.
Well, Darth is going to answer first. I would like both of you, Darth, starting with you. What is a duty, and how do these duties arise?
Yeah, a duty would be an obligation, and the obligation would arise from divine revelation given through scripture, or for me, the normative authority of the church. That's how it would go for me. I can't really teach much more past that. Just divine revelation throughout the how do I word it? The way that the church has set doctrine to be. Let's just put it that way. That's all I can really do there.
Okay, Mr. Mann.
The question. I'm going to have a live at some point tomorrow about formal debate fatigue.
You're fine. What is a duty, and how do these duties arise?
A duty is a God-given directive, an obligation that we have to abide by to maintain our honor, and it arises, I guess, by whatever circumstance would require a person to have a duty. I don't know. Depends on the duty itself. Some duties are consented to. Some duties just arise by virtue of happenstance. I don't know.
All right, thank
Is that good enough? I want to go to sleep, son.
No, that's fine.
All right, Guy, what is your question? Ask you. Okay, Breeze, you one go.
Mr. Man, what is love?
The person that you care about yourself.
So sacrifice. Okay. Well, would you say that it would be a loving act to sacrifice for one's child?
Like,
why do you believe that?
What? Because Jesus Christ taught us how to love through his sacrifice.
Okay. No further questions.
All right. Now we can move on to the judges. Oh, wait. Neo. Yeah. Okay, use teacup. Okay, Neo, you want to ask your question?
Like one judge first. I'm just trying to formulate this in my own brain.
Okay, Mr. Fortress, you can ask your question.
Shall we give like Mr. Man a bit of a break first?
Yes, that would be wise.
You want to ask him like if he's tired, you can just let him rest first. It's fine.
Dude, honestly, I wish people would come up to ask me stuff. I don't know why. Like, even on Meatball's panel with all the pro-choicers, and I'm a pro-lifer debating on Meatball's panel, I assumed a bunch of pro-choicers were going to show up to try and run me off, and I didn't get any pushback. And I actually look forward to it. I want questions, but
I mean,
don't know why.
I'll ask
Like,
you
I
a
got like
question.
2 the last time.
I'll ask you a question.
Don't come on, bro. Don't be
Have you ever
don't be
watched a
disingenuous.
boxing match and at the end of the match, the interviewer comes up with his microphone and he spends 45 minutes talking to the loser?
Well,
Wait,
that's
is
my
this
thing. Yeah, no, but you did well though. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Like
there's
you did
press
well.
conferences, bro.
Yeah, I guess that's why Joe Rogan stopped interviewing that. But like, it was closer than that, dude. I mean, it wasn't like a huge loss, dude. You did way better than the last one I was in with BT3. Like, there was a major gap there. You got like 21 to 69. Fucking, there was a big
Really?
gap there, dude. You did a lot. Whether or
Should we
not,
allow abortion prior to consciousness?
yeah, that was the prop. Yeah.
What was it?
Should we allow abortion prior to
consciousness?
consciousness?
Yeah.
Oh. So what
I
did
think the reason that you're getting so many questions is because we're so close in our beliefs, but there's just this one little hiccup there, and like the majority of pro-lifers probably wouldn't give the same like obligation to self-sacrifice in all circumstances. I think that's why you're getting the majority of them here. But I thought I was gonna get more, or at least one. Fuck.
All right.
Nobody has any questions for him?
Yeah, Mr. Fortress, yeah.
I mean, I
Sounds
do,
like
but like it's. I'll ask you privately. Yeah, it's fine.
You can ask
Okay.
me in public, dude. It's fine.
I have my
Cooking
question. I have
Okay.
Do
my
you say it all of those people could have asked me privately?
Okay, it's fine. I'll ask you publicly.
No. Ask me publicly, yeah.
Don't you feel like when you went into the line of questioning with the trolley problem, don't you think that was a bit of a misstep?
Yeah, that was my question.
Because you would agree.
Maybe it's because I was trying to pin down the value claim.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that the trolley problem is going to be a bit different than the other hypotheticals that were.
I'm
given,
only
but it was
asking you
like,
this
yeah.
because like we've had this conversation in private about the trolley problem.
Oh
and I know you
yeah,
answered
yeah,
this.
about the trolley. Yeah, it's not really going to do much. I was more so it was about seeing as to whether he held the same. the same weight for sins of omission as sins of commission. So like that was the reason that I was trying to ask it, which is why I brought sin into it instead of just
Okay.
giving like the
Okay.
basic trolley problem.
But
Because like it
but
is a
you
sin
would
of omission.
you would say that there's a difference between sins of commission and omission in terms of severity, right?
Sure, but then there would be a threshold there for me. That's why I was like asking him like, at what threshold do you determine this? And he didn't really have one. He was just like, well, it's
Yeah.
such
No,
a low
I was
percentage
just
that it would not make. Yeah, it would be a threshold for me, and then I would have to take other factors into account
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
just
And then I was
the
just wondering.
the obligation.
All right.
Yeah, I was just wondering like the assessment of what you think. It's like
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going through with my mind, but I see how that was like a bit off topic, or not off
yeah.
topic, but like it
No, it's
appeared
fine. It's fine.
optically like
It's
here's
fine
a
if
bad
if you phrase it
misstep.
that this was the way you were understanding the principle, and like it's fine. I understand what you were trying to do. It's fine.
Is that all?
I wanted to give Mr. Man a break, but I have a question for him. I can ask him later if
All right.
someone wants.
All right, I'm still here. Come on.
Neo, is your
No, but
question for me or Mr. Man?
it's for
It's for
Mr.
you.
Man. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Well then,
Then
ask
tell
us first.
Neo, ask the question. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wasn't here for, like majority of this debate. I basically hopped on like maybe 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. But I was wondering, Darth, how you would answer. I heard you guys talking about trolley problems now. I don't know if this was in the debate, but let's say we had like a classic trolley problem where like a woman's 5-year-old child was on one side of the track and she could pull a lever, and it would either the train is like barreling down towards her child, and there's a lever, she can pull it, but the train will unalive her if she pulls the lever. Do you think she has an obligation to pull the lever?
Wait, so she's pulling the lever to have her be
Have
unalive instead
herself.
of her child?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here I would say that yeah, she I don't know if there's technically an obligation. I would say it's definitely virtuous. I think there is an obligation, but there are other factors that need
You
to be
say
taken into
there
account. So
is
there's a threshold for me.
there is or is not an
Yeah.
obligation?
Yeah. Sure. I'll say that there's an obligation.
Okay, so
But
what's the morally relevant distinction in the case of pregnancy to this kind of a case?
yeah, the principle of double effect, or the doctrine of double effect. This is what I argued in my opening statement. I kind of blundered because I thought he was Catholic. He said he was Catholic. I guess I mistook it. He wasn't Catholic. But the principle of double effect, or doctrine of double effect, in regards to self-defense, quoted a couple things in there where, so long as there is no other option, if a mother who is pregnant, and it would either unalive the both of them, or it's prior to viability, but she would be unalived by it, so it's going to unalive both of them, that she should be allowed to remove the pregnancy whole, alive, and intact, give palliative care, and hopefully the fetus survives. But if it's prior to viability, it's most likely not going to. I think that she would be justified in doing this, especially if it was my decision as a husband, given that I asked a certain hypothetical earlier about, for your wife or for your child, if you had to pick like who you're going to jump in front of the bullet for, it'd be the wife, so that there are other factors at play there. Like, yeah, I mean, I guess that's the best way I can answer that. You can
So
push
wait,
back
if we have a case where like it's one or the other, the woman or the child, would you say that
I would say the woman.
she has an obligation to unalive herself to
No.
and the child will live if it's either
No,
her or
no,
the child?
no. If it's either her or the child, I think that she would have the obligation, or not an obligation, but it would be permissible for her to have the pregnancy removed whole, alive, and intact,
No,
not
I'm saying if it
unaliving
couldn't.
the
I'm
fetus
saying
first.
I'm saying if it could not be the case that she could remove the child whole, alive, and intact. If it was the case that either it's the abortion or she unalives, does she
Yeah,
have
I'd be
the
willing to bite the
obligation?
bullet. Yeah, I'd be willing to bite the bullet and give the medical exception in that case. Yeah. Like it would
Okay.
unalive by like the detach, like so like in the first 7 weeks, if you detach the fetus from the uterine lining, like it's gonna unalive the moment you detach it. There's no chance of you saving it. I would give this as an exception. Yeah.
So then I don't understand then why does she have an obligation in the trolley problem, but but it's permissible for her to unalive the entity.
Because there are other factors taken into account.
What are the other factors?
Yeah, the other factors would be things like something like what happened earlier, like Mr. Mann said, or when I was asking Mr. Mann, you have 10 other kids at home, based on this principle. Like for myself, I didn't really have
It's just her and the child in a vacuum.
just her and the child in a vacuum, yeah. And I would say that she would have an obligation to a full-grown child, yeah. The difference is that if she's going to be unalive by pregnancy, I would say that honestly, for me, it would just be more intuitive. I hate to do that, but I don't want to teach doctrine, and I can't teach doctrine, and I'm gonna have to follow my sword here and say it's just more intuitive to me value the woman more, given that like
Okay.
a husband should value his wife more than the child because they're
Okay.
of the same
Yeah.
flesh.
Just last thing. I do agree with your position, Darth. I just
No,
think
I know.
that like I just think that like in cases where we have an entity with a psychological profile, I do think that those kinds of entities like have more. I wouldn't say like value, but I would say like unaliving an entity absent a psychological profile is less has a feeling or an intuitive feeling of like less badness than like taking a screwdriver to a 5-year-old's head. That's why I would take
Oh well,
on
yeah, no,
more your
I agree,
position.
but
Um,
that I
so,
don't value the psychological profile itself, though. That's why
but
I'm having
you
a
would,
hard time with it
but you would
because
say that like smashing a petri dish with a zygote in it is less bad than that, although still bad, but less bad than taking a screwdriver to a 5-year-old's head, right?
well,
We can
yeah,
agree
yeah,
on that.
sure, yeah, I agree with that, yes. But this would is kind of what I mean by other factors, like because of threshold deontology versus regular deontology. If I hold a threshold, then there are other factors that need to be taken into account to see as to whether or not the threshold's been met for certain things. Like harm's going to be one of them. Yeah, it's I'm not going to unalive on the harm principle, but harm's going to be taken into account indexed to the obligation, not that harm is the deciding factor.
I just wanted
I
to see how
appreciate you
you
pushing
handle.
back because it did
Yeah,
give me food for thought. I'm gonna have to think
yeah.
about it.
I obviously I agree with your position, but I just wanted to give you. I just wanted to see how you would answer that question, even though like I agree with the position. But
Yeah,
yeah,
if I took the positive stance on this, the affirmative, I would actually have to prep for that very like question. Like I
yeah.
thought about that as well. I did offer Mr. Mann if he wants to press me on it. We could do an
That's the
affirmative where like a debate where I take the affirmative, and I would actually have to prep for that. I didn't prep for this at all. I wrote my opening statement at like 8:30 or something
Oh,
like
damn.
that.
Well, anyway,
Well,
I
I
think
feel bad
6:30,
about
and then
your preparation of the whole Catholic
no,
thing.
you're good.
well,
No, it wasn't
anyway,
even preparation, dude. I came up with that off the top of my head. It
anyway,
was like just
uh,
something that
It sounded so
I
like
do want
I'm
to use
listening
that
to it.
against.
I couldn't interrupt you. Like I wanted to stop you, but like, wait, dude. But I'm like, shit. I'm listening to this whole thing. I'm like, I feel bad because it was so eloquent.
No,
uh,
you're good. You're good, dude. Yeah, you're
well,
good.
yeah, my time's way up, but Darth, take this.
so Silver's, I think, is
Oh,
gonna.
thank you.
I
Thank
think
you. I
Silver.
thought you were about to say take this fucking L.
No.
Yeah, I think Silver is the last judge. He's gonna ask a question. I'm not sure if Stitch wants to ask something, but I also have a question actually. But Silver, what's your question?
Yeah, I was just waiting to have an opportunity after the clarifiers. So earlier you both said that you are indexing your obligations towards your faith, correct? Yeah, so what I would take this to indicate is going to be a translation of scripture. So I would ask both of you if the opposite view was translated through the Bible, would you then concede your position?
If it was
No.
if it was very clearly saying that somewhere that in some text I haven't seen, you mean? Like, what do you mean?
Like if there was
No,
a like if there was a translation of the scripture that indicated your opposition's stance, would you concede your position based on your faith giving you your obligations?
On one single
Well, he basically was asking.
mistranslation?
Well, I mean,
Well,
to
no,
be
not
fair,
he's not
even
saying
one
mistranslation.
translation.
He's saying like the
Yeah.
translation itself.
So you're
But
saying if it was
I would say,
discovered that it had been mistranslated this whole time, and it actually said what you're saying, yeah, I would change my view if I found out, oh my God, wait a minute, I've been lied to. But I don't even think that's possible. The scripture is true. I don't think that's possible. I don't know.
yeah, I'm not sola scriptura. The way that I would answer it would be that I would hold to the normative authority of the church's interpretation, specifically the early church fathers. And this would be a bit hard to parse out because when they're talking about abortion, they're talking about a very specific context in which abortion was being done. But if some translation came that was like, you ought always self-sacrifice as the mother, then I would just go to the normative authority that I hold to, which is the church. But I can't teach any further than that. I would just go with the interpretation of like my spiritual father or something like that.
If anything, it's just to like see where your guys' views are coming from. If you're going to hold obligations consistently, regardless of what your faith is going to entail. And I feel like if you're both willing to do that, then that shows good faith in your argumentation.
Yeah, for me, it would just be the church and scripture, not one or the other. It'd be both. But the church interprets the scripture, so.
Yep, I'll concede.
All right. Well, I guess. I mean, what if the church did say?
Protect. Can we let Katie speak after this because she has to leave and like really quickly. So, I mean, if you want to drop me, you can. Oh shit. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was just wondering because we spent a lot of time on, with Mr. Man not answering my question. So I was just wondering if he could answer my question, and if I need to clarify it more, I can.
Remind me what it was.
Yeah. So in this scenario, at which you kept going back to like, we're not making it realistic. This scenario that I'm presenting to you is not realistic in any way, shape, or form. We would never do this. But like, let's say that baby is coming out, mom's in early labor, baby will not survive at the time she's in early labor. We could either let baby be born and die a natural death, not in the life of the baby, but let baby die a natural death. Or we could like sew mom back up, let her die, and put her on maternal somatic support like Adriana Smith, and hopefully.
Oh, the Adriana Smith thing. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I don't think you should be required to let this woman pass away to a child that's passing away inside her.
Okay, so well, baby's not dying inside of her. Baby's just being born. So can you differentiate that
Well,
stance?
here's the thing: you say if baby being born is what's unaliving the mother.
No, it would be if we don't let baby be born. If we let baby be born.
How?
Well, hold on. So if we don't do everything we can to save the life of this child, it's mom or baby in this scenario. Like, I've created a fake scenario where it really truly is mom or baby, and it actually like works out that way, right? Because mom or baby isn't reality. Like choosing between mom or baby isn't reality. So since you would not force mom to die so that baby could live, then can you differentiate between that and your affirmative position of women not self-sacrifice during pregnancy is what I'm trying to understand.
I
It
see.
seems like a
Okay,
contradiction.
yeah, because it's the reason it all seems like such a contradiction is because it is like you said, this scenario is not realistic. It's not something that happens, and it's not something that the hospital would do, right?
But wouldn't the principle still apply?
The principle would apply. Sure, as much as the principle applies with the active pupua. It's the same principle is what applying.
Okay, so can you? What I'm trying to understand is how it's not a contradiction on the principle of women ought self-sacrifice during pregnancy.
Because you're taking this
women ought not self. Excuse me. Hold on a second.
Or your affirmative rather, that they ought self-sacrifice during pregnancy.
Yeah, this is a snippet of my premise because this is what Darth wanted to debate. And yes, women ought self-sacrifice during pregnancy if that could save their child's life.
It would
Just
save
like,
their-
hold on, just like a mother ought self-sacrifice if cowering over the child could save the child's life from the
But
pew-pew.
So the reductio that I gave you, so you just said that the mother ought self-sacrifice if it would save the mother's life. The reductio
It would save the
gave
child's
you-
life.
Yeah, you said that the mother ought self-sacrifice if it would save the child's life, but the reductio I gave you, you said that we would not compel the woman to do this.
Oh, then I must have
even though
misspoke. Listen, it's getting late. I'm getting confused. I've been pressed on this so many times.
No, I understand. I know.
I
I'm
have
sorry.
the same view I've had for years. I haven't changed my view. I
Okay,
thought I've
so-
said it a million times.
Okay, so my last question is, do you think that we should pursue, as we're abolishing abortion, do you think we should pursue mandates to ensure scenarios like PPROM that we are sewing women up and attempting to save the life of children in such a drastic measure?
No, I don't think this idea like this. What was her name? Adriana Smith or something?
Yep.
I don't think this idea should now be because that happened to occur, that this woman passed away and they were able to keep her body functioning enough to activate this child's gestation and survival. I don't think that is what should be we ought do, that we ought do whatever we can to keep the baby alive, no matter how absurd and at the mother's detriment. But if it is in the natural course that in either the child is going to, either the mother is going to perish unless we unalive the child, which you agree doesn't exist, or the mother is going to live by unalive. I don't know how it's getting late, Katie.
I know. You're good. I guess
I think you know what I'm trying to say. I don't even know anymore.
sure.
All right,
Yeah.
we're gonna move on then.
Brady.
All right. Did anyone else have a question?
I actually do, but I think he's had enough. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's,
Well, I
it's,
do have a-
Always for me. Why are they always?
I do have a
yeah,
question.
exactly, because
Nobody
it's
else
quite
has
a.
Nobody else has
Okay,
a
let
question.
me. I'll just pose the question to you. You don't have to engage, but I'm just telling you this because you should look it up. Okay, when you talk about sacrifice to Moloch, this suggests that there's no competing obligation to anyone else, right? So this would be like you sacrifice a kid without having any person dangling a head of duress over you, right? Which is going to be the issue when you have to choose between the mom and the kid, right? So that's the threshold break. I'm not going to push it any further.
All right. Anyone else?
Yeah, just real quick. I know I'm kind of late to this. When the topic says ought women self-sacrifice during pregnancy, is that obligatory, in a sense, or is this just a moral claim?
Yeah, it's you're morally obligated to self-sacrifice.
Yeah, I don't think you mentioned anything about legally. It's just morally.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious about
Wait,
that.
Mike, since you're here, do you think I could ask you a question? Because I'm pretty sure you don't think that there's a moral obligation, right?
Yeah, I don't think there's a moral obligation.
But okay, I agree with you. But could I ask you a question? If a Roman Catholic,
it's a higher virtue. I think it's a higher
virtue, yeah.
virtue. I think it's more virtuous to do so, but I don't think that it's morally obligatory. No.
No, I agree with you 100%. I'm sorry, I'm throwing it off a little bit, but there is a Catholic here who's very well versed. I know Catholic Mike is he's a good guy. Could I read you my premises and see if a Catholic themselves, because I created this thinking that Mr. Mann was a Catholic. He's not. He's a Protestant. But I was under a false impression. But if a Catholic ever made the claim that women ought self-sacrifice, it's not just virtuous, but they ought to do it. Do you think that these premises would hold up? I want to test it against you because I do respect you very much. P1 is to be a Roman Catholic, you must submit yourself to church teaching as well as allow the church to bind your conscience in regards to these teachings. I'm assuming you'd agree with that.
I'd agree with that, yeah.
Yeah. P2, the Catholic Church for nearly a millennia has taught the doctrine of double effect, at least as far back as Aquinas' Summa Theologica, where he states nothing hinders one act from having two effects, one of which is intended while the other is beside the intention. Or the Catechism of the Catholic Church, when it states on legitimate defense, the act of self-defense can have a double effect, the act of preserving one's own life while unaliving of the aggressor. The one is intended, the other is not. And then Pope Pius XII addresses this principle of double effect in regards to the medical ethics, like end-of-life care and maternal fetal situations. This is in his address to the Family Front Congress, November 27th, 1951. It's been our intention here to use always the expressions, the direct attempt on the life of the innocent and the direct unaliving. For example, the safety of the life of the future mother, independently of her state of pregnancy, might call for an urgent surgical operation, or any other therapeutic application which would have, as an accessory consequence, in no way desired nor intended, but inevitably led to the unaliving of the fetus. Such an act could not be called a direct attempt on the innocent life. In these conditions, the operation can be lawful, provided that it be a matter of great importance, such as life, and that it is not possible to postpone it till the birth of the child, or to have recourse to any other efficacious remedy. That's P2. And then P3 is to knowingly and openly teach against established Catholic doctrine in regards to faith and morals. You would be self-excommunicating from the church. This is called latae sententiae. It removes you from the body of the church without needing a formal excommunication from the church, hence self or automatic excommunication. The conclusion being that basically that's kind of it. So basically, if you argue with the first two, you're teaching against Catholic doctrine. If you openly and knowingly teach against it, you would be excommunicating yourself. Would you hold this to be true, like in this regard?
Yeah. I mean, I would say so based on the two premises that you provided. That the conclusion follows. Because like there is some confusion, I think, in some circles that it just has to be dogmatic. Dogmatic's the only thing, at least as far. No, that's not true. Like even moral teachings, as long as that they're teaching from it, when it comes to morals and faith, that also is what Catholics have to hold to as well. So it's not just merely just dogmatic statements. That's why abortion also is something that, while there's never been a dogmatic doctrine on it, it is a teaching of the moral, and it is required for Catholics to follow that teaching as well.
Wait, Catholic Mike,
I
wouldn't
appreciate you.
the Didache be a dogmatic teaching?
No.
Yeah, but I mean, in regards to the specifics here.
No, but the Didache is very much like, as far as like sacred tradition, it's a very much part of like our sacred tradition. So a lot of our arguments from what is like moral teachings, they directly address it from the Didache as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else can ask a question?
I just say real quick, Mr. And like when I'm saying this stuff, I didn't see the whole.
Oh, Mr. Man's not Catholic. He's not Catholic.
He's not. Okay, yeah, like it's.
Yeah, no, that whole argument fell through.
Yeah, I respect people that have a difference in opinion on this, or whatever the case may be on this. But I would just say that, I think there's going to be a major difference between what might be more virtuous versus what might be obligatory, like that. Those are going to be the big distinctions.
Yeah.
No, I was just.
No, I think he was just.
Commenting that, I think that the act in itself might be a higher virtue, right? Self-sacrifice. I would just say that I think that the distinction we would make is the difference between something being more.
I understand. I look at it like it's the choice between self-sacrifice and ritualistic child sacrifice.
All right. All right. Any other questions? Because I actually have a few questions.
No, sorry. I just wanted to ask Catholic Mike that because this opening statement that I came up with, those were like the premises and the conclusion, but the entire opening statement, I was like, I think if I ran this against a Catholic that held the same stance, it would be an immediate W. Like, there would be no really ifs, ands, or buts. I just wanted to see if Catholic Mike held the same standard. Like, if a Catholic said that women ought self-sacrifice, it's not just virtuous, but they ought to do it, there's an obligation, that under the Catholic position, this would be wrong. They're excommunicating themselves if they teach that. Yeah, no, you can go ahead, Protect. Sorry.
Yeah, my questions are directed at Darth. Why not? So I think the discussion was asked before, but like, which one would you say worse, a sin of commission or sin of omission? Right? Would those be like comparable to like an action or inaction? So like in this case, right? Would you say in action, like the sin of omission, would be worse than sin of commission?
Depends upon the circumstances, I think.
So in the case, like you
So, like,
said,
not every I wouldn't say sins of omission or sins of commission are always worse one over the other at all times. I would say that it would depend upon the circumstances.
were you the one who asked them like the grape one?
Yeah.
So like you'd say like it's better to
No,
or
I was
not as bad?
critiquing his stance. I don't have one for you. I probably would also not do it.
Oh, okay. I see.
It's more so based upon the because he's a deontologist. I'm a threshold deontologist when it comes to like the obligation. So I think there's a threshold. I just think under like strict deontology, there's not a way to answer that other than like you would. Yeah, like and like that was the inconsistency. I'm more so like, hey, look, I'm not gonna do it.
Right.
What's deontology?
And yeah, okay, well, deontology is the belief that there are obligations and that they can never be avoided, basically. I mean, I'm just giving you like a really basic
I mean, I like
way
the
to
sound of
describe it. Yeah, but threshold deontology would be that there's an obligation, but that there are certain factors that could come into play where there's a threshold at which the obligation no longer applies in the same way or to the same degree.
Well, I guess the question: who would
So
set
that's
the
what I hold
threshold?
to.
Well, who would set that threshold? Is it the person themselves in that situation, or is it like us? Like, what
No,
if they?
it will be the limitations
No,
of
it would,
Christian ethics
yeah, it
and
would
the
be Christian
reasonableness
ethics.
and the logos of God,
Like let's say in a case
which
of
is logos
pregnancy,
theology.
like let's say in a case of just a normal pregnancy, like the woman herself considers, and this is beyond my threshold, like just being pregnant, would that justify? Like, does she decide the threshold, or does somebody else?
What do you mean? Does she decide the threshold?
Yeah, it's like a certain
It would
level
be
for
the
other
church. It would be the church. It would be the church
It
for
would,
the
yeah, it would be
apostolics.
yeah, for people
And
that hold
then
to like an
you might
apostolic church, like, yeah.
it might be decided under some form of economy, but it depends on the church.
Fortress, it was my motherfucking question. It was my god.
You taking
That's
too
my question.
long.
I'm not taking too long.
Finally gets a question next to him, and you answer it.
No, this is like the third one. This is the third one for me, Mr. Man. This is the third one. That's why I'm telling Fortress. Let me do it. Yeah,
did you
for
ask?
the threshold. Wait, sorry.
Yeah. I didn't want to interrupt, but did you ask the one about the lion one? Did you ask about lying? Did you ask the hypothetical as well?
No, I think that was Bryce.
Oh, okay.
If I remember.
Yeah, I think
I
it
don't
might
know
have.
who it was, but that wasn't me.
Oh, okay, then.
That was in the Q&A.
What was the question about lying? I'm curious.
It was like, would you lie to like I think prevent somebody from getting raped? I'm not sure, something like that. I would say lying isn't inherently wrong. I would say there's some cases where lying would be permissible. I mean, I'm not
Yeah,
I would say it
sure.
would be wrong.
I guess
I would
it
say you
depends
ought not
on.
lie.
Yeah,
in what they
it's going to depend. Like from our position, it's going to depend. Like from the cat, like from our faith position, it's going to depend on like what you would classify as lying, right? So like directly misstating the truth of a matter and like purposely like providing false information, like that would be considered a lie, and that would be immoral.
Yeah, but
But
it was
not
the
but
way
not
the
omitting
question that was
information.
asked. Yeah, the question that was asked was, if I can remember correctly, because it was a while ago, dude. It was like an hour ago. Um, the question was something along the lines of, uh, if you were preventing someone from being raped by lying to someone else, would you lie? And so this is where like threshold deontology versus just normal deontology comes into play. For me, I would say that you have a higher obligation to not commit the sin of omission that would result in the individual being raped. But you would have to lie in the process. Like if you have to commit a sin either way, I would say that rape is the higher of the two sins. Therefore, yeah, I would tell a lie and say, hey, this person's not in my basement right now. I'm not hiding this person. Or like if there are 100 Christians hiding in my attic, I'm not going to go,
Right.
hey, look, these people are trying to come and persecute them and unalive them. I would be willing to tell a lie to protect the lives of 100 Christians. Like, but with deontology, you don't have a threshold. It's always black and white. With threshold deontology, there's other factors that have to be taken into account. That's just how I would answer it.
Yeah,
Right.
I would
Well,
say like from. Go ahead, sorry.
I was just saying from like a biblical perspective, isn't like deception always wrong? I'm not sure that's true, but like deceiving people. Um,
I think it depends. Like so, deception. So some people might take a deception like, let's just say for example, you don't necessarily lie, but like this is like the teaching, right? So you don't lie in that particular scenario, but you don't provide them like all the information that they would. So you don't volunteer information, or like in a sense they're deceived because of how you answer it. You don't directly lie to them, but you don't also tell them everything that would give them the same information. So, like, let's just say, like they said, is this person here? And you said, oh, well, I just seen him at the store yesterday. And let's just say that statement, I've seen him at the store yesterday. Let's just say that's a true statement. Like, you didn't directly lie to them. But you also didn't give them like the direct information. But if you just said, "Oh yeah, they're not here," and they literally are there, then you're actually like lying, and so that would be immoral. Like, granted, it might not be as immoral as the action of, the fact that they're going to unalive them, but the whole idea is it's still going to be immoral. So it just depends. And I think even Kant addresses this, and it is like his imperative like arguments. He talks about like I think that one of the critiques is like imagine a situation. I think like where you tell someone that they're not that they're looking for someone, right? And you tell them that oh yeah, this person is they're looking for that they're going to unalive. They're not here, right? Well, at that same time, they're not in the house. So at that same time, the person finds out that someone's looking for them, and so then they run out of the house, and then they end up getting caught by the person that wanted to unalive them. The whole idea was that if you had just told the truth, maybe they'd still be alive. But because you lied, now they go back around the back and then they're. So it's kind of an interesting, like,
I see.
read.
When you say it's like a false dichotomy, there's only you can just like not answer the question. Can you say that?
Yeah, or like provide like information that's like, yeah, that doesn't directly answer it, but that doesn't directly like state a falsehood.
Right. So when you guys think, would you think espionage should be a form of lying, and that's wrong?
I think that's going to depend on.
I would say in warfare it'd be different, but like obviously you're not gonna go and be like, hey, guess what my coordinates are to the enemy, right? Like you're not gonna.
Yeah. Hey, I'm
Like
hacking.
all that would have to happen for Christians to be wiped from the face of the earth was for someone to ask them their coordinates, and then you have to give it to them. No, dude. like obviously there's a level at which you can be tactical about things without like lying per se.
Yeah, the main difference is if you state direct falsehoods, but even in those particular cases, it's still going to be immoral, like in that particular cases. Now, you might feel like you have a justified reason, and maybe possibly that it's not as as unjustified as some things because you are trying to protect someone. So there's like some kind of virtue in what you're trying to obtain, but that doesn't take away the fact that it's still immoral. Like lying in itself, directly saying falsehood, is still immoral.
Or you could remain silent. You say your
Yeah.
serial number.
Yeah, that wouldn't be wrong. That wouldn't be wrong.
All right. Any other questions?
Like, just search into, go read into Logos theology. You have all the.
Okay.
So, what you're going to really grasp when you get into that is you're going to understand, like, I guess, a better understanding of, like, the thresholds of which something can be considered sin, and then you're going to understand things like the doctrine under which, like, economy and the church is decided. This is like,
All right.
yeah.
I mean, without using like the church, when you say the threshold is arbitrary,
I mean, the threshold is going to be arbitrary from any sort of like non-objective standpoint. If it's subjective, then it's arbitrary. Yeah.
yeah, well, that's why I was asking. Like, the woman views pregnancy as like, that reaches my threshold. Yeah, that's what I
Well,
was
that would be
asking.
subjective. That would be immoral. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It wouldn't be decided
I
by the
think
woman. It would be decided by like the scripture and the church.
espionage would be obviously dishonorable. It's not a honorable means of warfare.
Wait, are you thinking like what the CIA does?
Maybe
Like
you
what the
gotta look into
CIA?
just war theory.
Yeah, like, do you think what the CIA does is like wrong? Like, they steal information from other
Me?
countries. Yeah,
That's a very
Absolutely.
like that's a very like
complex.
open-ended
Well, not
question.
every
Not
aspect
every
of what they
instance
do.
of them like subverting and all of that is wrong. I don't think so, at least. But I don't
Yeah,
trust the CIA, and I definitely wouldn't give my endorsement to the CIA, given like a lot of the shit that they've done.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's inherently immoral in cases of like war or something like this to let's say deceive the enemy into believing that you're there when you're not there, or that you're there, or I mean that you're not there when you are there. That sort of thing, like keeping things secret from an enemy that's trying to persecute the church. I don't think, like, I think even in scripture, like you can point to like Acts where there are certain. I mean, this wouldn't be like applicable to like the CIA thing or anything, but I'm saying like in regards to how would I never mind. Nope, this is gonna be me teaching, and I can't do that. So I'm gonna
Don't worry,
find
don't
my
worry.
focus
When
now.
you hold the affirmative, you'll be pressed on that. All right. Any other questions? Anyone else? What about you, Stitch? You have a question? What about you, Mac? Anyone else?
Question?
Yeah,
All
actually.
right.
Yeah, you can ask a question.
All right. This one's for Mr. Man. How did you feel about the debate? Did you enjoy yourself? You know, it was a lot more work than I really wanted to
Man, he
do.
got blown the fuck out.
And it really,
So why do you
I
have a
honestly,
schedule on
in
the
terms
calendar?
of competitions, this is not the type of competition I really enjoy doing. Like, if we were going to play Risk or chess or maybe Call of Duty, I maybe would have had a fun time. But this, I felt drained. I feel fatigued. I have been inspired, though, to do another live, maybe tomorrow, on formal debate fatigue and its effects on the human mind. And you know
Man,
what?
shut your ass up. You finna do a call live tomorrow.
I'm going to do the what?
You finna do a call live tomorrow. Shut your ass up.
Call out. Listen, you think I expected to win this? I didn't even know what a formal debate was.
Bro, I don't know why you even took the debate, brother. But all due respect.
That's what I'm
Dude,
saying.
they
Look,
told me
Mr.
what it
Man
was
did
after
way
I took the
better.
debate.
Look,
Yeah,
he
respect
did
where
he did
respect
way
is due.
better. He did way better than I anticipated him
That's what
to
I was
do.
gonna ask. The
Yeah, I
both
know.
of you.
I'm
I
just
think
fucking.
that's
Mr. Man's
Man,
a good sport.
yeah.
Mr. Man's my boy, bro. Mr. Man's
Give
my
that
boy.
guy
Listen, I listen.
some
Granted,
kudos.
I said yes to the debate before knowing what he was really asking, but I have to honor what I say. So next time I'm going to ask a few more questions before somebody challenges me to something.
Yeah, that would probably be best because I think if we would have like gone back and forth a little bit more, then maybe I would have known that you
You
weren't
wouldn't
a
let
Catholic
me.
holding this
You
position.
wouldn't let me. I tried
Bro,
to talk to you
no,
about it.
but I literally sat there. I was like, okay, so you hold this position, yes? And you were like, yes. And I was like, in all circumstances, you were like, yes. And I'm like, all right, cool. Because I do have the previous live recorded where it was like, you said you were Catholic, you were not Protestant. Because I was like, this is just
Listen,
like a
I
Protestant.
may have said that in the way
Yeah,
you have
that's
to
okay.
understand. I am I don't know if you call it
Protesting
reformed.
Catholic is what you said.
Yeah. They fucked me, man, and there's
But
no
that's a
way I can
Protestant.
believe
That's a
them.
Protestant.
And there's
Yeah,
no way
it's
I
a
am going to
Protestant,
hold
bro.
to any more of their edicts because their edicts got my child
Hey,
poisoned
bro.
and
Hey,
kidnapped.
bro. It's time to turn to orthodoxy.
Oh my
Hey,
god.
Oh my
he
goodness.
said Catholic wrong.
Listen, if God knocks
Just
another tree down
they
for me,
fucked me when I was a child comment was hilarious.
Oh my gosh. Somebody kick this guy off the fucking thing
That's
and bring him back
exactly
up.
what I was gonna ask for both of you.
I
But
think
you guys
Mr.
were
I think
okay.
Mr. Fortress said,
Neil, come
meant
back up, bro.
submit to Rome.
Yes, he
Yeah.
said.
No.
We're stealing another
Never.
one from Rome, boys.
Because Mr. Man,
Stealing another one from the Romans.
All right.
We're just
I was also born and raised a Catholic in a Catholic church. I got baptized there. I went to PG there and everything else.
W Catholicism. Submit to Rome. Submit to Rome. All right. Does Steve have a question?
no, L protect. L protect. L the host right now.
All right. Does Steve have a question?
Well, no, other questions that I wanted to ask have already been asked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stitch, it's been a minute. How you
Yeah,
been, brother?
what's up, Catholic Mike? How are you?
I am doing well. I'm doing well. Good to see you.
It's been a while. Actually,
Big
I have
people.
some questions I wanted to ask you actually about Catholicism.
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever. Submit to Russia, Mr. Fortress.
Submit the Russia. Submit to Constantinople. Submit to Constantinople. Do it.
No,
How
this
can you
is
say
this
that?
is the Arabasi. This is the Arabasi dynasty. Okay?
No, I'm not talking.
Yes.
So, Bud, do you have a question?
Remember who won the war between the
Oh wait,
Crusades?
Bud might have a question. Hold on. Bud might have a
I
question.
just know I was invited up here.
Oh, okay. No, I will not submit to the toenails. Oh, well, in that case, I guess the debate's over. I think the debate's over. Any other ops? Oh, okay. Who has an echo? Okay. He is probably Catholic Mike. He has a trend for that. So, yeah. Yeah. Any other ops?
Gotta change the background, my bro.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
To be fair, you might want to reset.
I got some good
because you're probably just gonna get the people that like.
I have some good topics for you guys. Hold on.
You've been, dude. What the fuck? I just realized you have 100.9K. That's like the highest likes I've seen.
Oh my
on this
God.
fucking debate.
Yeah, Jared. It was probably Jared. He usually presses like. Good job, everybody.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody.
I was gonna say if you want, you should probably restart your panel. That way you don't have like the whatever like is dragging the viewership down from earlier.
Yeah.
But Mr. Man, it was good debating you. We're definitely much closer than we are far apart. I think your view is very unintuitive, but you know, thank you for coming and actually formally hashing it out. The only reason I do the formal debates, and I don't know if you realized, right, Mr. Man, but I am known as a crash out. You're also known as a crash out. The reason that I'm like, hey, let's do the formal debates instead is because it's a one-on-one, and like we can kind of just go at each other, and it's not. Neither one of us crashed out super hard tonight. Like we
Yeah.
got a little bit
Why
heated at
not?
one point, but like
Hey, why
neither
not?
one of
Like
us went to
someone,
like the extreme.
bro. So someone in the comments, just Spartan, is saying that we participated in the councils until we didn't. Do you want to take this
No,
one, or do you want me to do it?
no. He was arguing with Mac earlier, and I'm like, V2, bro. V2.
No, Spartan's a friend. He's a friend. He's a friend. It's fine. Just
Protect, are you
trolling.
going to restart?
Oh, is he? I protect
I don't
him,
know. I
right?
might
I
just stop
guess.
everybody from the panel and then recross for the prompt. It might
I
not
was
be
just saying to
necessary.
restart because it might help it. Yeah. I mean, I guess you could run that one, yeah. I was just saying, like, if the viewer count has gone down substantially since earlier, then you
There's
might
like
not
90.
get the same traction.
Maybe we need a different topic.
Nah, I don't. Wait, what's this?
Oh, what a scuffy beard you have, Graham.
What the fuck, bro?
Did you make this?
Oh, wait, no,
bro.
hold on. I think I want to formally debate this with you, Darth.
Yo,
Get in line.
I don't.
tomorrow.
I think I agree. I don't know whether it's the original moral of the story, but yeah, fucking.
You know,
But it
after
definitely applies.
you know,
It
after
applies.
this whole
It
debate.
applies. Let's,
Wait,
The
wait,
principle
let's go.
wait,
applies.
The pastrami sandwich.
wait, hold on, just to be clear, okay? After this debate, I want a Philly cheesesteak sandwich, okay? Shit.
We're not going to debate that.
Alright.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
If I would like to be the inverse. I'd like to see the inverse, or like Darth, why not just defend the proposition, and Mr. Man be on the offense.
I think you might need to restart though.
Yeah.
Protect.
Yeah, I think it's just everyone that's here is pretty much at this point in agreement with the both of us, me and Mr.
Yeah, I think literally
If you
everybody
restart-
alive. I think literally everybody alive except one person is pro-life. I think. I wish
think
it
it's
was
an
like this-
important distinction to be able to hash out in front of people.
No, you're not, Neo. I don't want Neo up.
Yo, Protect, are you gonna restart the live, bro?
Probably,
I was just surprised you only called me
So,
dumb fuck
so
like two
I
times.
think it's important to realize though that Orthodox is the Catholic Church. Just so everybody knows.
No.
Yeah.
Orthodoxy is a progenitor of the Catholic Church.
But you see, privy to ethical egoism, right? Being a simp is actually going to be morally permissible because it gets them
Genesis,
laid.
Genesis stop?
No,
Did you
listen.
fix P2?
The
Did you
Orthodox-
fix P2?
Guys, listen,
Okay,
listen,
that's a completely
listen.
Darth.
Guys,
That's a
listen,
no. One
listen,
second, Mac.
wait,
Mac.
wait, oh
Mac.
my
One
God.
second. One second.
Wallah,
That's
wallah,
Darth. Oh my gosh, no, Darth. That's gonna be a completely separate argument, right? That's gonna be my argument for slavery.
Alright.
Well,
No, what I was saying is the Orthodoxy
Hey,
is a
Mr. Man,
No,
we need a
Darth, shut up,
handshake
shut up, shut up,
now.
Shut the
No,
fuck up.
listen to me. I'm telling Mr. Man good night because I'm gonna leave the panel now. I really appreciate his pushback on my position. Thank you very much, Mr. Man. Maybe we can get a pastrami sandwich one
Wait,
day, and
hold
it
on,
won't
hold
be
on.
so contentious between us.
All right, GG.
I'm inquiring
Dude,
about.
wait, Mr. Man, I do got a question for you though.
course you
Earlier in the debate, you mentioned that certain things were self-evident. You still hold that?
I don't remember. I'm fucking half asleep, dude. What is your question? Certain things are self-evident. What were the things I said were self-evident?
That the duties that a parent had to a child, that these were self-evident. You still hold to that?
Yeah, sure.
And how is the do you find that to be sufficient justification for your argument?
I mean, for me, it's sufficient, subjectively speaking.
But yeah, so when you,
I feel like
so when you're engaging with it, engaging in a debate, and then if you have the positive position where you have an argument, and then it just falls down to, oh, I find this to be self-evident,
Yeah,
would that
yeah, I
be a
got
good
you.
enough justification?
No,
Would
not at
that,
all.
like, if I were just to simply negate it by saying, well, I find it to be self-evident, it's not,
Yeah,
like
no,
that wouldn't be,
that wouldn't be
you would find that to
sufficient
be good,
in
wouldn't
a debate. I wouldn't find that sufficient. No.
it? Okay, so why did you say that in the debate?
Why? Because I'm not a master debater. Okay, I'm a mass
Okay.
debater, and I'm a master baiter. But as
What?
far as debates go, this is my first debate.
What the fuck, bro?
Yeah, it's kind of dirty, not gonna lie.
But it's true. I hold the worldwide mass debate, and I'm a master at baiting people with my.
Wait, what? I really hope you're not going into the territory I think you're going, but
No, I'm just saying.
okay.
Wait, but Mr. Man, you never answered my question
Oh
previously.
boy, what was your question?
Yeah, so if your dad was in you and you were in your mom, which direction would you go to get out of that?
I thought I told you because my dad's dead. I would just be happy to see him.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
I have a question, guys. I'm inquiring about Oriental Orthodoxy. Is it true?
You know, I'm not even surprised that
Okay,
was his answer, Genesis.
hold on, base. Let me answer this. So, like, okay, I am inquiring as well, right? But the reason why I'm inquiring is because I believe, like, the truest form of religion is gonna get right straight, like, it's gonna be like a direct link to what it preaches, right? And I would say, like, because it comes directly from the apostles, I would find that to be true, at least from my beliefs. Like, the closest thing to the truth.
Yeah.
Surely.
I'm gonna go with Orthodox Mike's opinion is, but any other option?
Bro, you're gonna have to restart to get ops.
All right, that probably be their best. Well, thanks everybody for joining this debates. I'm gonna put this
I'll
on.
miss you.
Okay, I'm gonna join this. I'm gonna put this on YouTube so you guys can rewatch. I'm going to restart right away. So if you want to rate some ops, welcome to join the panel. Thanks everybody for joining.
Mr. Man got bodied.
I don't know. I think he was cooking. Darth, why not? But I'm gonna restart. I think I'm gonna restart, guys, in like a second.